This podcast is brought to you by Most Valuable Podcasts, leading the league in podcasting entertainment.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. This is the Fast Break Podcast. I'm your host, Sean Anderson, and alongside me, as always, is Ricky Widmer.
What's up, guys?
And Dave Oster.
Hey, everybody.
And today we have a full slate. We're talking about LeBron's recent groin strain and how that's going to affect the Los Angeles Lakers. That whole team's banged up. JaVale's out, Rondo's out, now LeBron is out. So we'll talk what that team will look like without him. Yeah. Then we're going to go into other injury news, kind of the more positive news of DeMarcus Cousins is nearing a return soon, most likely in the month of January, and the Warriors are struggling right now. So we'll talk about what Boogie will add to this team and if it will be a positive or a negative, because some people are thinking that he won't exactly fit on this team and they kind of need to get back to the basics, and then throwing in DeMarcus Cousins might throw them off. And then finally, we're going to do our wet boys in between, but then finally our big topic will be Kevin Durant and the talks of him possibly being a Celtic, as Jackie McMullen said she's hearing rumors that Kevin Durant might be intrigued by the Boston Celtics. But before we get into that, we just want to reach out and say, first off, happy holidays. Also, Happy New Year, because this is going to be our new year, final episode of 2018, first of 2019 for some people. So Happy New Year. And then finally, if you are listening to us on iTunes, please rate us 5 stars. We're trying to get up to 40 reviews on iTunes. So if you're listening, you got time, open up that iTunes app on your Mac, or go up to on your PC, open it up, type in The Fast Break, and give us a rating.
Or
5
on
stars.
Your phone. You can do it on your phone,
Or you can do it on your phone. So there you go. So if you can give us the time and give us that rating, whether it's 5 stars, 4 stars, 1 star, just give us the feedback. We appreciate the feedback, and it's pretty easy and pretty quick. You're probably already done if you're talking to me, because I'm just rambling. But let's get into the big stuff. Let's get into LeBron James. Pulled his groin on Christmas. Didn't matter. Lakers still won. Blew out the Warriors on Christmas Day. Steve Mikhailiuk looked stupid good. What's his name? Zubac looked fantastic as well.
Looked like a star.
He can't play defense. He had a couple
Are you
blocks.
kidding me?
He had that one big block, but I feel like in the playoffs,
Oh my God,
if he gets
so
playoff
overrated.
minutes, they're just going to switch onto him and destroy him. But big
Held
point.
zone against AD following that.
Big point is that LeBron did have the groin strain. He's going to be out for multiple days. Didn't make the trip to Sacramento on Thursday with the team. So let's talk about how it will affect the Lakers. Right now they are in the playoffs, and they're going to be without Rajon Rondo, a veteran presence, without LeBron James, a veteran presence, without JaVale McGee, a veteran presence. How much is the injury bug biting the Los Angeles Lakers, and how much do you think it will hurt them? Dave, you go first.
I strangely think this is going to be a great time for this young Lakers team, because they needed time to give their young players that running room together, because we've always seen that reluctance on LeBron to be in the game to close out games. And literally last night, we just watched the Clippers go on a 21-0 run on this young Lakers squad. And it's like they need to experience that, because they need someone else to step up on that team to make sure that, hey, we know the momentum's going. We've got to change things. We've got to fix up something. We've got to do something to get that momentum back. And by giving these young kids these meaningful minutes in the early to mid-season, like that will pay dividends come year-end and playoff time, because we're seeing Lonzo, 2 games post-LeBron, he's putting up like 19, 6, and 5 or something. Like he is having the impact that we had hoped to see out of Lonzo when he was first drafted. So I think it's a lot of positive, even though the record might suffer for it. But all in all, they should still be able to get to the playoffs by the time, with LeBron coming back. Obviously, JaVale's pneumonia and Rondo's surgery on his hand, we'll see as those come back. But I think it's ideal. Like, there could not be a better time for these injuries to all happen.
Yeah, right now they do have him just out missing several games, so we're not sure what a timetable is for him. JaVale's day-to-day still with an illness. And Rajon, I'll give you out 4 to 5 weeks with that surgery to the hand right now, Ricky. They are 20-16. That is good for 7th in the playoffs. Only 3.5 games back of the Denver Nuggets, but also the Pelicans, who are in 14th place, are 7.5 of the Nuggets. So a very tight-knit Western Conference. Probably won't change too much. They'll probably still be in playoff contention with LeBron being out for X amount of games. But do you think it's a positive that he's going to be out because guys are going to get their experience, or do you think it's going to be a negative because obviously you're missing the best player?
No, for me it's a negative, because like the first thing I thought of with like what Dave is saying, like, oh, we're getting these young guys they're going to gel together, and the first thought I think of, we saw this last year. Last year was supposed to be the year that these guys melded together, and they didn't make the playoffs. So it's like, for me, this is going to turn into, and I look at their next few games without LeBron. Sacramento might be close. Give it to Sacramento again. OKC, this Laker team without LeBron is not going to beat Russ and playoff P. The Knicks, you could beat the Knicks. I'll give you that one. Minnesota, at Minnesota. Derrick Rose has been fire of late. I mean, this Timberwolves team looks like they're trying to turn it around. And then you go into Dallas to play Luka, who he's been on fire. That Dallas team has been doing really good as of late. I don't like the next few games for them, and I'm looking basically on a, like, yes, they're going to develop together. You hope that they develop together.
Yeah.
But for me, the whole point of this year for the Lakers was we have LeBron. We need to make the playoffs and then show free agents, the prime free agents, that they can come and play with LeBron here and win a championship regardless of who's in San Francisco.
But, I mean, again, we don't know how many games it's going to miss, and you're already saying, like,
well, I'm just saying,
this
like,
could affect free agency.
Well, I'm just saying,
he could be
like,
back by January 6th, then it'll be fine. You miss, total of 5 games.
And, yeah, the day-to-day means it's not an end-of-the-world thing, but,
there's no day-to-day yet.
We
JaVale's
don't know
day-to-day,
how
but
this is going to linger on. And the thing that makes me kind of question a little bit is did not make the trip to Sacramento. Like, for me, the thing is could that be viewed as, and I'm not saying this is a negative, but for me, like LeBron, hey, I'm still going to make the trip. I'm going to still be on this bench for this young team, rather than him just saying, nah, I'm going to not go to the game. No, I'm throwing it out there.
I wouldn't make too much of it, because then he was at the next game against the Clippers on Friday night. Because, again, what's the point of making that trip when you could probably be getting treatment for your body, not putting your body through going through a trip to Sacramento when you could stay home. The next game's going to be at home anyways, still at the Staples Center because they played the Clippers. I mean, I'm not bashing him for missing one game against the Kings. The thing that I am worried about, though, at least with this, LeBron being out, Rondo being out, JaVale being out, you have seen their inability to close games, because you look in the fourth quarter against the Sacramento Kings. They got outscored 33-21, and obviously Bogey hit the shot to win. Great call, by the way, with Doug Christie and his partner on the Sacramento feed. And then also the Clippers outscored them 36-27. So, again, they were in those games up until the fourth quarter, and then by the fourth quarter, those teams were able to pull away, outscore them, and get the victories. Because if they were even a little bit closer in the fourth quarter against the Kings, they would have won that game. If they were a little bit closer against the Clippers, they might have had a shot to win that game, because they only lost by 11. So it's something that I do worry about.
Is it a stamina thing? Like, we're going to go out balls of the wall to start the game, and then by the end of the game, it's these young players are like, oh man, I maybe didn't conserve my legs, kind of like a LeBron will, because we've even seen like LeBron be smart. I know playoffs is a little different, but it's like, hey, if it's the second, third, I'm going to conserve a little bit of energy so that I have that extra reserve in the tank for the fourth quarter if I need it.
I don't really know about that, just because, again, like they got outscored in the first. They also got outscored in the third. This is a back-to-back, I'm pretty sure, as well.
Because I'm looking at the Kings one where they outscored them in the first, they outscored the Kings in the second, and even the third. But it was that fourth quarter where the Kings outscored them.
They got outscored by 2 points in the first and then 5 in the third. So, I mean, that's really, a couple baskets that they only got outscored by. I'm not too worried about that. The only thing that I would worry about, though, is, again, like what Dave was saying, like who's going to step up. And we didn't see anyone step up in the fourth quarter, and that's one big thing. Like, Lonzo's been playing great, and I think it is a positive that LeBron's not out there, because Lonzo can actually be his true self. I think that's one thing that we might see a little bit more with LeBron being out, is the fact that these guys might end up performing better, because they're going to have the roles that they used to have, that they were comfortable with last year. We're going to see Lonzo, who really needs the ball in his hands to be the his true best self offensively. I think that's going to be the biggest thing that we're going to see from this, and then maybe this is just getting too far ahead of myself here, but maybe if we do continue to see this, LeBron comes back, Rondo comes back, and Lonzo then falls back down to where he was. Maybe it looks like Lonzo becomes expendable at that point, because why would you want to have that player out there if he's going to just continue to hurt your team and not help your team? And you can also show teams like, hey, this guy is a very valuable asset. He's a very good player, but he's just not the right fit on our team. Am I getting too ahead of myself just because he is 20 years old? He still is only in his second year. Am I jumping the gun too much with Lonzo? Because, again, I think that he does have a lot of talent. Everyone loves to say that he's a bust because he can't shoot. But, again, he might not fit with this team.
I think you've got the right idea of wrong guy. I think that this is a showcase for other teams, perhaps, in the Anthony Davis sweepstakes. And Brandon Ingram, to me, is still the odd man out. Still has a lot of value because of his body, because of his length out there, but it's turning into like last night, 17 points, 7 boards, 0 assists, 0 blocks, 0 steals. That's kind of a weird line for him because you think of him when he was most successful was basically being that secondary ball handler to Lonzo or the primary point guard himself. And when he's out there and he's not able to provide that defensive toughness for them or the ability to facilitate, a little concerning. But yeah, I think it's a showcase of the young talent. At the worst case, and maybe it is future thinking, and maybe it's just like, worst case scenario, you guys get to see what our young kids can do, and if you're interested, now you can see what they can do without having someone who's going to take up 30% of the usage on our team.
Without Daddy's not on the court anymore.
Exactly. I mean, like Kuzma looks, even if he missed literally all of his threes last night, 0-7 from 3, still got confidence in his shot. He's still going to take shots, and that's what you want to see out of someone that young and on a team where you need scoring. So I really like what I've seen out of them, but I think that B.I. looks like he's definitely the odd man out. Lonzo's intriguing because it's, do you trust Rondo's health? Because we've seen him hurt in the past time after time, and if you can't trust him in the playoffs, you definitely need someone like Lonzo who can step up and elevate his game. Now that we can see when people aren't there, Lonzo can definitely facilitate and do it all.
I find it funny, too. You say Lonzo, you say B.I. I'm going the third edge of this triangle. I'm going Kuzma's the guy. And the reason why is if I'm trading for Anthony Davis, because let's be honest, that's who the Lakers want. The Pelicans are going to want a guy they can build their... Wait. They want a dynamic guy.
Who's saying that the Lakers want him? Outside of LeBron, there has been no rumors outside of what LeBron said.
If you're going to trade for anybody right now, the Lakers, that's who they would trade for in my mind. Like, Kawhi's not on the market. Any of the other Durant's not on the market.
You need a lot more than Kuzma to get AD.
No, but out of the three, the thing that I look at is the Pelicans are going to want a guy that they can feel confident in. He can be our leading scorer, and we can build a franchise around him. And like Dave said, the shot from Kuzma is there no matter if he misses all 8. But I look into that if I'm the Lakers. I know it's a small 2-game sample size, but the thing I do not like with Kuzma, and I love Kyle Kuzma overall, is that he went, 2 of 8 from 3 against the Kings, and then 0 of 7 from 3 against the Clippers. You can say, well, Ricky, it's just a 2-game stretch. He's shooting bad. The other thing, and this is my numero uno red flag, is LeBron comes out, the kids start playing. Kuzma has 6 turnovers against the Kings. He bumped it down, but still had 4 against the Clippers, whereas Brandon Ingram, he had 5 against the Kings, but he only had 1 against the Clippers.
But he had 0 assists, though.
I look at, and there's that side of it, too. He had 0 assists. I'm not saying, all these guys are perfect, but I wonder if Kyle Kuzma is going to be the guy that plays the best, and he's going to be the trade chip that the Lakers need to move if they want to land a big star like Anthony Davis.
But also with that, Kuzma is probably the one with the least amount of trade value. Although he's performed the best, putting up 18, I think, last year, and around 18 this year, if I'm not mistaken. Again, he wasn't a top pick. And yes, you can probably say, how much is performance, how much is potential, how much is the fit, how much is bad numbers on a bad team last year. I just worry about, again, even though if he performs well, people are still going to look at Lonzo's high ceiling and think that he's the best trade trip. Look at Brandon Ingram's body and his potential as well. I don't think that Kuzma, even if he balls out and puts out 40 points a game when LeBron's out, I don't think he's magically going to become their best trade asset, and that's going to help them get Anthony Davis. If they're going to get Anthony Davis, especially right now, they're going to need to give him all 3, because why would the Pelicans want to move on from Anthony Davis when they have control over him? You're going to need to give them an offer they can't refuse, and that's going to be giving them as much as you possibly could give, and that might mean all 3 of them, Lonzo, Ingram, and Kuzma. I just think that if you're going to make a trade for maybe a Bradley Beal, it might be easier to move on if you see Lonzo's ability to play off, and maybe not for the Wizards because obviously they have John Wall. But like you were mentioning, maybe Brandon Ingram becomes more intriguing over these times when Rondo, JaVale, and LeBron is out, because they get that ball in their hands more. They get the ability to create. They get the ability to show out because LeBron's not going to be on the team wherever they're traded. But again, this isn't really about trade is more about how they'll do.
Well, I mean, it affects it because with
of course.
LeBron not being out there.
I'm just trying to come back to what it was because I think we'll get into trades just a little bit about like if a trade should be made, for this. What you've seen so far, Dave, do you think that this team without LeBron can at least keep around 500? Because again, there's a lot of young talent on this team. They're dealing with other injuries outside of LeBron, but with this core of LeBron, Lonzo, and Kuzma, or Kuzma, Lonzo, and Bi, do you think that they'll be able to right the ship and at least stay 500?
So they would be able to lose 4 more games before they hit 500, right? Because they're 4 up.
Well, no. Right now they're 0-2.
No, I just meant like record-wise overall.
Yeah, they're 20 and 16.
Up. Yeah, so
I think they're not going to. I think they're probably going to lose 3 out of the next 4 games. So yeah, they're not going to be able to win many games. I'll just say that. Like they're young. They're not very deep as a team right now.
What do you think they're missing with LeBron then? Like what's the biggest thing? Obviously outside of the best player in the NBA, but
that
like
sort of helps.
At least with the lineup that you see, if this was the Lakers team, what would you be saying they need? Is it just another star? Is it a guy who can be a go-to scorer?
No, I think they've got, I think Kuzma is probably going to end up being the go-to scorer. He just needs to find some consistency, and like Ricky said, a shot from 3 as of late not been. I would probably say, they need a secondary ball handler because, honestly, BI has been disappointing as of late. And, I mean, Stevenson, okay, but, I don't love him. I don't love him out there. Their bench depth's non-existent. They got 3 on the bench, basically. That's it right now. It's weird that Svi, played up, and then they just drop his minutes again because they feel like they've got to market KCP and Hart out there so Svi doesn't get minutes. And I think that's kind of... Luke Walton kind of bugs me with his rotation sometimes. Weird tangent, sorry. No, it's just... You see, a snippet of one player or, them get a little bit of success, and it's like, oh, where'd he go? Why isn't he playing anymore? And Svi's been one of those guys who's up and down. Same with, Mo Wagner. He's a guy, you have no depth on your centers. You gave Zubac the starting role, and he's had 3 great games and 2 disappointing ones. But yet, we're not going to give him any minutes. Tyson Chandler, yes, we know what he brings, but, I'd be curious to know why Mo isn't getting anything at this point. So, I think that, yes, you're a young team because LeBron's not out there, and Rondo's not out there, and JaVale's not out there. So it's why not let them play a little? But no, they're not going to be able to win games, not consistently, not at a 500 rate even. But I do believe that they can at least win 1 out of their next 4, and then hopefully by then LeBron is back and they can get rolling again. Their team is so dependent on him, and that's why it's kind of surprising to see okay, so they can put up some individual numbers and they look good for most of the game together. You can see there's chemistry there, and I like the effort. That's the other thing is watching them play. You see the hustle out there. And being able to see that without LeBron overbearing shadow on the sideline staring them down, that's awesome. Because as a Bulls fan, I'm watching a young team suck, and you just see guys just stop caring after a while during games. And it's you don't see that out of these guys.
And that's something that I'm thinking about in my head is you add LeBron to the situation, you add the city into the situation too of the Laker town, LA, where the Showtime Lakers were champions. LeBron comes in, he's a champion. These young kids are expected, are we expecting too much out of them? Are we expecting too much out of Lonzo and Kuzma in their second year in the NBA? Are we expecting too much from B.I.? I know he's the oldest, so that might be the only one where it's no, you've been here since 2016.
I think he's
you've
actually
had the third year.
Isn't Kuzma same age as B.I. or older?
He's older.
But
he's older,
I'm saying in the league, him and Lonzo were in the same draft.
I know.
And then I look at that Bulls team that you said me and you watch so much because we're fans.
Yeah.
And not because of the city, because I think the city expects champion. Well, it doesn't expect. We want championships because we had 6 in the 90s. But
our
it's
ex-players are getting cheered louder than our current players.
Because of our management, we are. It's more of you know what? I'm just going to watch these young players play, and it is fun.
Expectations?
The expectations are a little bit lower, and it would be completely... take these 3, Kuzma, B.I., and Lonzo, put them on a different team, and nobody is scrutinizing them.
I just pick a team at random, say the Pelicans.
Yeah. Like, they would not be scrutinized in New Orleans.
I just want to interject real quick because looking it up, I totally forgot. Ingram's actually younger than Lonzo.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I was like, he was like...
Ingram, September 2nd, 1997, so he's 21. No, I'm sorry. I don't know. I'm just fucking stupid. They're 21. Both 21.
Yeah.
Ingram was September 2nd. Lonzo, October 27th, 97. So they're both 97. Ingram older by a month. And then Kuzma, 23. He was born July 24, 95. So I'm actually older than both Brandon Ingram and
what are you doing with your life?
I remember I remember when I got to that point. Remember when Derrick Rose got drafted? We were like, man, that could have been us. That could have been us.
But going back, I think that I think there is too much pressure on him, but I don't think it's just because of the city exactly. It's because the player that you're playing with is a big thing, and you look at other markets of rookies and big ones. I don't think there's a ton of pressure on the Chicago kids just because, again, there's not an expectation because there is no star for them to win. And even then, I think there's still pressure. Even look at Chris Dunn. People are wondering if he's the future. No one's really questioning Wendell because it's just so early in his career. But it's like Markkanen balled out early in his career, so it's not really there's not really too many questions about him. But you look at New York, and there's a lot of questions about Frank, and he's not getting playing time out there, and there's pressure on him. And if he's the guy out there, you look at L.A. Obviously, last year there wasn't too much pressure, but now being in your third year, Ingram. Then there turns to be the pressure because you're not a sophomore, you're not a rookie anymore. You need to start stepping up. I think that's why there's pressure on him. Kuzma, again, there's no pressure on him.
He exceeded all expectations. He was like a late 20s pick.
Exactly. Late round pick, already 23 years old. He's putting up 18 a game.
Kuzma's going to be the Jimmy Butler of that draft where it's like, wow, he went 30. Like, I know Jimmy was 30. That's what I'm saying. But, wow, he went 30? I thought he went like top 15 or something like that.
And Lonzo's obviously going to be a huge target just because of his father and the whole Ball family. But I look at it, and I think it's, again, and you look at what Boston did as well, another big market. Those rookies automatically started, playing extremely well. So I think there's that expectation that's heightened now because, rookies don't have that kind of grace period of, you have 4 years to become great. It's now just, all right, you step in, you have to be great already. And Luka's not helping that situation either because he's just dominating. We're
spoiled. Rookie classes as of late, we are incredibly spoiled on how quick they can enter the league and then immediate results as far as their stat lines. Maybe not as far as the win-loss column at the end of the year, but it's been, come on, this is a joke. The last 4 years, oh my God.
Yeah, I mean, you look at this too, and I think just like Lonzo and this draft class, now Markel's, being injured, and then people are like, oh, well, Lonzo's got to be better. And then it's even more difficult with who's breathing down your neck at 3 in Jason Tatum and the fact that there was traded. So I think again, there's so much focus on the draft, there's so much focus on the rookies, and now you add LeBron to the Lakers. There's so much pressure on it, and I don't think it's really fair to them, and I don't think it means they're ever going to be bad players or they're not going to be able to develop because again, when LeBron's not out there, Lonzo does look great. Lonzo does show that ability to score, be a facilitator, be a great defender. Lonzo has shown a ton of potential. I think the most potential out of all three of them.
Yeah.
Well, and the thing that I just wanted to say is bringing up Jason Tatum in Boston, we saw that from last year with them where Hayward goes down, Kyrie injured late in the year, and it's those guys stepped up, made a deep playoff run, and the thing that I find it funny is, we go oh man, Jason Tatum played up, but a lot of it, and I'm one of them, go, yeah, good job, Brad Stevens. Good job with your coaching and getting these guys ready, where I'm not saying Luke Walton's on the hot seat, but eventually, when will that go hey, what, maybe we get a guy
fair to say, good job, Brad Stevens, and not, hey, great job, Danny Ainge, or hell, even great job, Jason Tatum, for not being afraid of the moment and stepping up.
High fives all around in Boston.
That's the thing is, with Lonzo, is it just, do you look at Luke Walton say you're putting him in the best position? You look at the front office and being you're not giving Lonzo the right system to work in and grow in,
or do you look at Loud GM?
Well, or then are you looking at Lonzo himself and saying you're not working on yourself enough to put yourself in that position when you're playing next to the best player in the NBA to step up your game and be a great part of the team and less of an up and down part of the team. But finally, we talked a little bit about the trade chips and how they can improve their trade stock. But ultimately, do you think they will make a trade for a big star? And if so, which players are going to be moving and what type of player do you think they're going to go after this year? So, obviously Anthony Davis is on the table, but do you think Lonzo Kuzma, BI, if they play well, they could be moved for a big name player to help this Laker team now? Or do you think if they play well, that just gives the Lakers more incentive to keep them and try to just grow this hometown core?
Yes and no answer. Yes to the talent playing up, being like, oh man, this is good talent that we can trade for. No, it's not going to happen this year. If it happens at the soonest, it'll be in the offseason.
I still want to lean towards the trade deadline. I think they're going to make a move for something. I don't know if it's going to be as impactful as like the AD thing that I want to happen. But like, I still see BI as the odd man out. But you're going to have to move two pieces plus futures to get him anyway, or to get AD, I should say. So, yeah, it's tough. If anything happens, it's going to be a smaller move to get like some additional piece for this team. But
veteran guy.
But if they
I
make
see
that
BI
move,
and
BI
LeBron can't be on the same team. Like going into the season, I was like, I'm ready for him. I want him to be, the number 2 guy on this team. He can be another ball handler out there. And the more I watch them play together, I'm like, wow, BI should not be allowed to be on the same court as LeBron James.
But you think he's going to be moved this year? What piece? Because this is still a big piece, I think.
He is.
Because he's a second
overall pick. He's got great size, great wingspan.
Are you looking for a wing? Are you looking for a guard, a combo guard? Are you looking for another big that could be dynamic? What piece are you trading this young player
ideally hoping for a wing who can actually shoot from the outside. Like someone who can legit play 3 and D. Mostly because just Brandon Ingram scores driving. Like he is a slasher. He's pretty good at it most of the time, but you need someone to help space out that court. And, LeBron with his whole, like, I want ball handlers on me. I don't want to have, like, that sounds great and all. But what we've seen is, like, BI, when he's not, when the ball's not in his hands, he's, like, not engaged in that offense. And he's just kind of standing around on the outside trying to create some motion to distract somebody. But I don't know. I think that they need a wing out there who can, his defense is great, but he just doesn't bring that outside shooting consistency that they need. So I look to see, if they do make a move, it's going to be for a veteran, just outside shooter. But AD is the dream. Maybe this offseason, I wish this trade deadline, but if AD keeps playing like this, there's no way they're going to move him. Yeah,
I mean, the big thing, too, you look at Ingram splits, and the higher the usage, typically the greater results. You look
exactly.
At, October, he had a 26 usage and had 17, 4, and 1 out there and shooting 47 and 36. So I think that he is the odd man out, but I just don't see him traded this year because I don't think there's going to be a great enough piece that will warrant it. That will warrant it.
Yeah.
So maybe you look at the offseason, like Ricky mentioned, maybe that in the draft something pops up, or maybe the start of next season, AD demands a trade or something like that. I think BI will prove to be a useful asset.
Yeah.
But I do question about his long-term ability to score because again, this kid's 6'9". You get the comparisons to KD, and maybe that's not fair because KD's way too good to be compared to.
Yeah.
But also you're taking less than 2 threes a game, and this is with Lonzo Ball. This is with LeBron James passing the ball.
High movement offense. Yeah.
I don't understand how he's not getting more 3 attempts or why he's not pulling the trigger and shooting more threes out there because you're just going to become even more dangerous if you're proving that ability to not have a fear to shoot out there. You might hit a couple because he's got a decent stroke. And then once you start hitting them, that's just going to make you more dangerous driving to the hole. So
and they're not afraid of it because like they're letting guys like Kyle Kuzma jack up multiple threes a game, and he's not a great 3-point shooter. He's like a career 30% guy. So it's just kind of 36 last year, 30 this year. So
and I think it's different just because Kuzma again he was a later pick, needed to prove himself.
Him the shots. That's the thing is the volume is there for him.
I'm saying last year he proved himself.
Yeah.
Last year to warrant those shots. That's why he's getting those shots still, I think. And I think the reason why he was taking those shots last year because he had that mentality of this is a bad team. I can make this team and I can make this team for the long term if I go out there and start shooting, proving myself. Went out there and did it. And so far it's worked out for him. We're talking about him as a huge trade chip, and obviously, now he's got 18.7 points per game, the number 2 pretty much.
Yeah,
on
he's
LeBron
the true
James
number
team.
2.
Yeah, so I mean it's been impressive so far what he's been able to do. Final thoughts on the Lakers and what they're going to do without LeBron James.
For me, if the longer LeBron is out, the more this team will slide out of the playoffs in my mind. So hopefully LeBron comes back sooner rather than later, so this team can stay in the playoff hunt.
Dave?
I think the best point made during the segment was when Ricky brought up the Celtics, actually, and how their injury struggles last year. We saw the most development and the most potential shown by the young guys in that core. And I think that this is going to be a similar situation. but they're not going to have the ability to win as many games as the Celtics did last year because the Celtics had a great head coach and their players played up to a higher level than anyone expected.
And they were in the East.
And they're in the weak East. I'm just gonna Ricky line that one.
Thank you.
But no, I think that like this is you let these young kids go. Yeah, there's no way they make the playoffs without him. But I don't think he's gonna be out that long.
Do you think there's enough time then to prove like what the Celtics were able to prove last year with that young core? Do you think there's enough time for them to do that without LeBron? Being injured.
I think seeing this early progress out of them in these couple of games without LeBron is going to make them maybe change their attitude about minutes and lineups to the point where they can experiment a lot more because Rondo's going to be out for a full month, so Lonzo gets full point guard duties basically, and we get to see different lineups with that. So I think this is really a great time for them to do this, and I think that like these guys absolutely deserve the chance to get like 35 plus minutes a night as young kids. Let them roll with it because when LeBron comes back 4 games, 5 games later, no big deal, but let them keep that time and let them keep that momentum. That's my hopes.
I don't think this, stretch of schedule is too dangerous where they are going to fall that much out of the playoffs. Mm-hmm. I don't think they're going to be under 500 when he comes back. I think that they definitely have the ability to beat the Kings in their next game.
I mean, they were so close last time.
Yeah. Fall out of the playoffs means like a game or two now.
Yeah.
In the West.
Yeah, but I mean, if you beat the Kings, then you give yourself more space because that's a team directly behind you.
The Thunder, and then they got to go play at the Mavs, where the Mavs are historically good right now.
But also there's also the Timberwolves, there's the Thunder. Like there's a long stretch until January 6th. I was actually looking into getting tickets for that game because I have a week off. I was like, what if I go to Dallas, see a Cowboy playoff game, and then on that Monday go see LeBron versus Luka? Didn't do it because I don't have a ton of money.
I was going to say, Sean, you got like a second or third job that I don't know about?
No, I don't. So that's why I didn't do it because I don't have enough money. But yeah, I was going to take a solo trip and go watch the Cowboys hopefully lose in the playoffs and then see Luka versus LeBron. But we might not be seeing Luka versus LeBron. So I'm glad I didn't buy those tickets. But anyways, that's our thoughts about LeBron's injury and how it's going to affect the Los Angeles Lakers. All right, emergency segment. If you see the end of the Kevin Durant segment that we did, mid-podcast, mid-segment, we found out that John Wall is having season-ending surgery per Woj and Shams. Wizards star John Wall is planning to undergo season-ending surgery on his left heel. League sources tell Windhorse, ESPN, and me, that being Woj, doctors have recommended that he undergo surgery soon. Shams pretty much say that he's been dealing with this injury for a while, and it just came to a point where the pain became unbearable, and he had to leave. Wall is leading towards undergoing the season-ending surgery, which was prescribed by a specialist today. League sources say he will make his final decision next week. Surgery route will fully heal the bone spurs that have nagged him for years and allow him to perform at full steam. This is according to Shams. Again, he saw a specialist in Wisconsin, and the pain became too significant. So let's talk about this. If John Wall is out, he'll be out for the full season. I think it's a 6 to 8 month surgery and recovery time. And the biggest thing that we've been talking about with the Wizards is not their performance on the court, but the report that the Wizards were looking to move either Bradley Beal or John Wall. Now this puts the kibosh on moving John Wall because of his injury. And that means you are locked into a 5-year, $147 million contract, I think plus even, a 5-year deal for John Wall. We'll be paying him $47 million when he's 32 years old. What are your thoughts, guys? Because my thought was, if John Wall gets traded, it's going to be for this season because he's going to be so cheap. Now you're going to have to deal with the ton of money that you're going to be paying him in the next 5 years. What are your immediate thoughts on this whole deal, how it affects the Warriors or Wizards? We were just talking about the Warriors and Kevin Durant.
I think it's sort of a game changer for them because, like you said, you were hoping to trade that contract before it exploded. And on the upside, you did mention that they hope that this will solve his lingering issues with bone spurs and a couple other nagging injuries. So could be good. Could mean that long-term contract, we don't see the hit and miss seasons from John Wall where he's only playing 60 games instead of 80. Mm-hmm. So long term, probably the best move because this team was doing garbage already and they weren't going to make the playoffs. Mm-hmm. But it does sort of put the scope on Bradley Beal, and Bradley Beal has been playing really well as of late. He had one bad game, but that was on a back-to-back when he had played 53 minutes the night before to win. And then obviously the next game, it was 23 minutes, he had 7 points. He was done. He had nothing left in the tank. But I think Bradley Beal becomes the main point of contention is you got Bradley Beal, who's doing great, who's coming up on his prime, Do you want him to be the guy on this team? Or are you shipping him when he's at his highest value and you're going into the rebuild mode? We talked all about LeBron and the Lakers. I'm just throwing a fork in this shit.
Could they go after good old Zion Williamson? Right now they are at 6th, according to Tankathon, only 5 games back of Cleveland.
The tank is on.
Coming to the number 1 overall
All
pick.
they need to do is get to 3. All they need to do is get bottom 3, baby.
That's true, and they get the same amount of odds. I did screw up the John Wall contract, too. Right now, he's worth $9.1 million. It's a 4-year, $169 million contract that pays him $37.8 million next year, $40.8 million the next year, $43.8 million the 21-22, and then 22-23, $46.8 million. So, Ricky, what are your immediate thoughts on this Wizards news that John Wall is injured? Are you thinking alongside of Dave that now the scope's on Bradley Beal?
I got a trade to throw out.
Instantly. He's not even going to...
So
no, here's the answers that Ricky provides. Hey, Ricky, give me one answer. Yes and no.
Yeah.
Or here, I got 2 things.
Or yes or no.
Or, hey, Ricky, do you agree with Dave? Yeah, I got a trade for you. Never answers my questions. Really appreciate it, bud.
Dave's talking about... I'm thinking right away. So when we talked about the Wizards and their trades in the past, I have been on the side of you get rid of one of them this year. You're getting rid of one. And before we recorded the segment, Dave said, well, you can't get rid of John Wall. All right, I'm getting rid of Bradley Beal. Here is my trade. Put in whatever first-rounders you want. I am sending Nikola Mirotic and Solomon Hill with a ton of picks to the Wizards. They get an expiring contract in Mirotic. They get a contract in Solomon Hill that's off the books after next year. Pelicans, Drew Holiday, Bradley Beal, Anthony Davis, let's go. I
was not expecting that at all.
What are you thinking?
Like, if I'm the Pelicans, let's get in on this. Keep AD here. Let's try to win some games.
Clearly, he likes that. What do you think?
That's a bold move, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off. I mean, Drew Holiday, Bradley Beal backcourt would be dope. Like, that would just be so good. But
you couldn't move Drew to the 2 then, which I think is probably the move
he plays better there. But Bradley Beal also has been, putting up between his assist numbers are hilarious. 5-1, 5, 15, 7, 3, 3, 9, 4. Like, I think that you have 2 combo guards and you're not going to be too unhappy about it. I would definitely roll them both out there. I don't think you move it 1 to the 3 and you roll Alfred Payton out there as a starter. That doesn't make me feel good. Not as a person.
Yeah, but I think that him as a bench point guard, I think I like that.
Oh, absolutely. That's where he should be.
Yeah.
I mean, you do lose Mirotic, but you more than make up for that with Bradley Beal's amazing shooting.
I mean, Mirotic is up at the end of the year.
Exactly.
That's the big thing.
And
I think that's... Oh, man, I'm trying to find a reason to not like this deal. I think the problem is, what kind of future picks are we looking at? Because Bradley Beal is locked up under contract for 3 more years, right?
The Pelicans own all of theirs.
Yeah, they have the 2019 first round, 2020, 2021. They have Bulls tied up in 2021 second rounder, 2022, 2023, 2024, 2025, and 2026.
And it's funny because their team ships their picks for players.
Yeah,
like that's all they've done in the past.
So would you do Mirotic,
Solomon
Hill, and then like I would probably do once AD's off the books, right? That's
because you have to hope that they're going to...
If I was the Wizards, I'd be like, all right, whenever AD's up, then I'd start looking for those picks because that's most likely when that team's going to tank. So I'd be asking for that 2021 unprotected or like top 3 protected or something.
Yeah,
and then like 2023 unprotected and then 2025 unprotected. Because if the Pelicans
I might take one
deal,
this year. I might take off the 2025 one just to have additional draft stock this year, which we know it's not a super deep draft, but I'd rather have an asset sooner. The problem is, like...
maybe the Pelicans... Maybe that trade doesn't work out for the Pelicans. It's like a late lotto pick, and then, you're able to flip... if you're at 3, you're able to flip it, jump up to 2, and get, your pick of RJ or Cam if you want it.
Could be dirty. Could be absolutely dirty. The concern I have comes down to, like, would Bradley Beal on that team be enough to make them... Obviously, keep Anthony Davis and, like, shut down the rumors of him going to the Lakers. That one... That's asking a lot because I think it instantly makes them like competitive for top 4 in the West, probably top 5. But I just keep looking at that team and going, I don't know that they could win a playoff series against a team like the Warriors. That's the only thing.
Well, the thing is, I think it's not winning a championship with AD. It's just making sure that you're making moves to be competitive.
Right.
And that is a move to be like, hey, we want to be
competitive. That would be incredibly competitive.
I think that's one thing.
But the Wizards just suck with like Troy Brown has not. He's played the least minutes of like a first round pick, I think, pretty much this year. I mean, selling off your established star for young talent who you may or may not hit on. And honestly, like you got a guy now with a ton of potential. We all thought in Troy Brown, who, he's a ball handling wing.
15th pick. He's still young.
He's a ball handling wing out there. He was young when he got drafted. You're right. But still, like his lack of playing time and the fact that they're going with Ron Baker.
Well, then also look at the coach. It's Scott Brooks.
Right.
So I that's the thing.
It's a front office that does not make the great choices.
Well, I think that this is something that they do need to do is clean house. I think that Bradley Beal should be moved now because this is something that, again, you can tank your
You can try to get Zion and you can try to add another young player.
Yeah, and Zion, John Wall would be a fun mix. You could have still Otto Porter. You could still have Troy Brown in the wings.
Hope he gets some minutes.
Waiting. Maybe Dwight still sticks around, and we'll see if he's ever healthy.
Yeah.
And plays some minutes. Like I think that would be a fun team. Trevor Ariza's there. Maybe he resigns if he likes it. Like I think it'd be a fun team at least. Poor Trevor Ariza though. Guy totally gets screwed now.
I like my Lakers deal more because like we'd already heard the pairing of LeBron and Bradley Beal. The Lakers have better assets. Like, no offense to Nico and Solomon Hill, but that does not move the needle for me at all. It just, whatever contract help. At that point, you're already not looking to free agency to add a real great talent. You're giving away talent. So if you're giving away Bradley Beal this year, are you giving away John Wall when he returns healthy?
But the idea is if you were going to be a bad team next year, even if you do get Zion, then you can be that team that takes on bad
but
contracts.
But you're already over the max. I think with... Well, I don't know. I'd have to look at Spot Rack for Solomon Hill's contract next year. I think there's only like a $10 million difference.
Yeah, Solomon Hill's at 12.2 and then $5 million. Well, okay. 500,000.
Oh wow.
Yeah, 500. It's 12.2 to 12.7.
Oh, okay. Now 500,000 total. He goes up $5,000.
So I mean, you're cutting that in half, the Beal contract, because Beal's making like 24 mil.
Right, but you also have Otto's contract changing to his terrible contract
and then
mode.
John Wall's, you're right.
And so
you won't be able
I don't know that they could take on more garbage at that point. I don't know. I think they need a young asset plus. And I don't know that...
So BI.
Yeah. I'm looking at BI. And then you can try to move Otto again. You can try. Because I don't know that he has not lived up to hopes this year, but I don't know that you've already paid him the contract. Like, I don't know if anybody's going to take a shot on a guy who is having a down year, but in the past was one of the most consistent shooters and a good two-way player.
You look at Kelly Oubre, too. Kelly Oubre got to change the scenery. He's been playing really well for the Suns. So I think the biggest thing with this news is it sucks, obviously, for John Wall. It sucks for Wizards fans. But I think the biggest sign is that...
Mode?
Yeah, it's tank mode. It's tank mode now. It's tank for Zion. I mean, you have the ability now. You're only 5 spots away from being number 1 overall team.
Yep.
And getting the best odds. I think you have to go for it.
Technically, they're only 4 out of the best odds because now their top 3 is all the same.
Yeah.
Top 3 is all the
I'm just
same
saying,
percentages.
at the number 1 team.
Yeah.
I know the odds are the same, but I'm just saying, you're 5 teams away from being the number 1, where you're 25 away from being the best team.
Which, by the way, I got to rant for 2 seconds. I get watching young talent is fun, and when they pop off, it's good. But can the Bulls stop winning games, please? We need a top 3 draft pick. So there, rant over. I'm just upset about that.
Fair enough.
I just think that this is a blow, but I think it's probably a light at the end of the tunnel because John Wall's contract is going to suck, but you can get a player that can be really dangerous next to him for the long future, and you can clear up some cap space.
And that's the thing.
Which I think the Wizards need.
For John Wall, it might be the good thing of, hey, I did this surgery, so now I'm untradeable. You can't trade me now while I'm injured. Maybe if he comes back afterwards, the Wizards go.
Mind game like
the
that.
Wizards
You know
go.
what it was?
Hey, you know what? Maybe we don't want to trade you, and we're going to build around you.
Yeah,
You know what it was?
Yeah.
It was an alpha move.
Oh,
Because he's
The
an alpha.
the true alpha, might get the final
take
say.
himself off the table. How much? He can just mic drop the Wizards. Like, oh, you think about trading me? It'd be a real shame if I was
surgery.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Just
bone
walks in
spurs,
on a walking
bad.
boot.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know the San Antonio Spurs? I got bone spurs. I got San Antonio bone spurs. Got to get surgery. Final thoughts on the Wizards.
If they moved Bradley Beal, they literally wouldn't have an NBA team. They would literally. No,
They would be boys Zatarans.
They would be by far the worst team in the NBA.
Saturansky, Ron Baker, Otto Porter when healthy, Trevor Ariza, and Thomas Bryant. Is that their center?
Yeah.
Or Mahimi.
Or Jan Mahimi.
Because Dwight's out. I don't what.
That's a great team.
That is the worst.
Would they even win the EuroLeague?
Could they win the G League? I'm going to be honest. Bruno's down there in the G League looking like Giannis again, so I don't know.
Final thoughts on the Wizards, outside of being the worst team.
Trade Bradley Beal, tank for Zion. That's where you're at right now.
I don't want to move Bradley Beal because he's so good.
But you have to.
I would look to see what Otto Porter's value is first. If Otto can't get me good enough. Oh, I forgot they have Morris still. But
Morris is expiring also.
Yeah. So like I would look to move Otto first. But if I had to, I would move Beal. But I'd have to get the right price tag.
If I had to.
Right price tag for Beal. Don't give him up for
What's the right
nothing.
price tag? Like a BI and picks?
BI and picks.
Okay.
Because you also have to make, so you're going to eat KCP's contract to make it work, but like it's got to be BI plus something at that point.
I might get shot by Utah Jazz fans. This is the final thing that I thought of.
Oh, no.
Would you do Donovan Mitchell for Bradley Beal?
Bradley Beal's a better player.
But would you do it for a future?
Donovan's younger.
Not by much.
I'll take the potential.
Not by much.
I'll take Donovan Mitchell over Bradley Beal.
So if you're the Utah Jazz, you would not.
I'm
if
not
you're the
selling my
Utah Jazz,
phone.
you would not do that.
Yeah, because I'd have to give up picks. I ain't selling my phone.
Straight up. Donovan Mitchell for Bradley Beal.
Yes, that's different. But I don't think it'd be that easy.
No, I'm just saying.
Yeah,
straight up.
Straight up, yes, I would.
Dave, would you do it?
You're going to have to give me more than Donovan Mitchell to get Bradley Beal.
But he's saying straight
He's
up.
3 years younger.
Oh no, I was.
And Bradley Beal's got.
It just came into my mind.
I know.
I wasn't actually saying like it's a legit thing. I just
no.
literally my final thought was like, would you do Donovan Mitchell?
I would look at the Nuggets.
No, because they have you have Gary Harris, you have Jamal
They've got
Murray,
too many
you have
good
Will
guys.
Barton, you have who
But
are you
not
going to trade?
great.
I don't know. Who would you trade?
I would like to get one of those guys and maybe that draft pick that they shelved the whole time.
I think the biggest help that they need. No, I would not. If I was the Nuggets, I'm not trading Porter. I'm not trading Porter Jr. and I'm not trading Murray or Gary Harris. I would definitely because Gary Harris and Beal are so similar.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and
but Beal's just better.
Beal's a better player.
Completely.
Yes, but then again, like if it's like Gary Harris and Porter Jr., then maybe. But I still think that throws off the chemistry that you've been building.
To get that back.
I think the biggest thing they need is like another forward because Paul Millsap's injury history. His contract's coming up soon. They need a guy who can actually play defense. They need a little bit
next
of level defense.
Fair enough.
And they have Will Barton. Like the three's kind of shaky too. So
I added one last thing to my Pelicans thing that I want to throw out there.
Right.
I added a third team in the Knicks. So here's the full trade. Wizards get Enes Kanter.
Ain't nobody want Enes Kanter.
Wait, up at the end of the year. Mirotic up at the end of the year. Solomon Hill 2 years left. Next year he'll be up. The Pelicans get Bradley Beal and Trey Burke. And then the Knicks get Mahimi, who, yes, he's got a year after this, but it is $3 million less than what they are paying Enes Kanter. So, I mean, would the Knicks do that? Probably, maybe if there's some picks in there, but
no, because they want agency money.
You had a decent trade. Just
I know.
Don't
I tried to get too greedy, giving the Pelicans a point guard.
You know what that doesn't do? Drive the conversation because no one gives a shit about Enes Kanter. So that's our final
Knicks,
thoughts.
Not Kanter.
No, I don't give a shit about Enes Kanter. That's who's in the trade. Final thoughts. Tank for Zion. Washington.
Tank for Zion.
Beal getting traded by the deadline.
The new president. Zion 2019. 2020? Should we just do 2020?
Yeah, 2020.
Right. Zion 2020. Make him your president.
Who would be his vice? RJ or Cam?
None. John Wall.
John Wall.
But
Zion
is Zion another
Wall?
alpha?
Dwight Howard.
Zion
Is
Howard.
Zion another
2020?
alpha?
No.
No?
I don't think he's got that
No,
big
he's the
of an
hype
ego.
machine. He brings the hype.
All right.
He does
Wall's
not
the
seem that
alpha.
big of an ego. And also, John Wall and Zion running fast break. That'd be fun.
It'd be the most disgusting thing. You got one of the quickest players in the league,
That'd
and
be
then
fun.
Zion's explosive.
Well, hopefully if he
Well, they said
recovers.
this could potentially resolve all of those lingering issues for him. So give him the break.
Shout out to John Wall. Shout out to Zion. Shout out to Bradley Beal. And shout out to Woj and Shams for adding another cool 30 minutes to our podcast. So thank you, everybody, for listening. And I think now it's going to transition into Boogie, because we're going to put this second. Well, let's move into the next topic. And sticking in the realm of injuries in the Western Conference, this one's a little bit more positive. DeMarcus Cousins is nearing a return. He has now started practicing in close scrimmages with the team. We also saw the IG story, I think it was, or just IG post of Boogie traveling, as KD said, and dunking on Kevin Durant.
He's just salty.
Looked slow. Didn't look super great, but also it was just a fuck around in practice, so we don't know how he truly looks. There is no timetable set for him, But the Warriors are on a bit of a skid. Lost to the Portland Trailblazers. I think it was on the 27th. And then on the 25th, obviously lost to the Lakers. Klay hasn't been fantastic this year, like a typical Klay season. Steph's been injured. KD hasn't been phenomenal. He's been very good. I think KD has had better seasons before, but still, he's still a top 5 player. And then also Draymond not playing up to what we thought he could have possibly gotten in a max.
I don't know what happened.
He can't really play defense that well either. I mean, he's struggling all around. Like he's still worth, he still has worth because he's a good defender, but he's not defensive player of the year defender anymore. So at least right now. But looking at this, how will DeMarcus Cousins returning affect the Warriors? Do you think it's going to be positive or do you think it's going to be a negative?
It's going to change the world. Like DeMarcus Cousins,
we gonna shock the world.
I don't care what people say about him. They can hate his attitude. They can hate the way he plays on the court. I don't care. He's so freaking talented. It's not fair that they get to roll out DeMarcus Cousins. And again, they're taking their time with him because as you talk about return timetables, like for his injury, people have come back much sooner in the past. The longest one I think was Elton Brand. I think it was Elton. He was one of the ones who was injured. And yes, he never returned to the state he was in, but he also was not nearly as good of a player as DeMarcus Cousins was. And he relied a lot on his athleticism, where DeMarcus is a smoother big man who, ball in his hands, he can face up. He can go face up with you. He can back you down. Like, his game is going to work so well. The only concern for me is like the conditioning. And as long as they roll him out in slow chunks, like don't worry about getting him 30 minutes a night. Like, I want to see him get like,
I'm confident in the Warriors that
12,
they'll do that.
14 minutes, just little bits of incremental growth, because when he's on the court, he's one of the best centers in the NBA, and he abuses just about everybody else out there. There's a handful of really great defensive centers who really match him. But outside of that, this takes them from the worst team as far as centers are in the NBA to one of the best. So their lack of depth is scary, because Kevin Looney obviously is a sparingly used center in ideal circumstances. There's already talks of them, grabbing Rolo after we relinquish his rights and buy him out, which great for them. But it's just one of those things where he's just so freaking talented.
That's the thing with, like, you're looking at their lineups with the 5-man combos with like per 100 possessions. Their best ones, like, would actually get a ton of minutes, are the ones with centers, either Kevin Looney or Damon Jones when he was healthy. Obviously he tore his pec and he's out. So I just wonder, although you're adding a center in DeMarcus Cousins and he might not be to his full health, how much will he truly help this offense? Because those are not guys that are like DeMarcus Cousins. They are just bigs. They're out there.
They're traditional.
They're traditional bigs. They're out there to rim protect. They're out there to set pick and rolls. They're out there to be big bodies. They are not DeMarcus Cousins, who's used to putting up near 30 points per game. They're not up there, seeing a 27% usage. So that's why I'm asking, will it be positive or negative? Because obviously you're adding talent, which is always good. It's always going to be able to take pressure off of players. But the Warriors have been such a well-run and oiled machine that Boogie can be that guy that can totally throw a cog into this. So my thought...
What? Him controversy? No.
My thought, maybe this is crazy, and I don't know if this is fully true because I haven't looked up into the rules yet.
Sure.
What if they just try to rush him back, try to show him off as much as possible, and trade him before the trade deadline?
Yikes.
No. And the reason why I'm saying no to that is I like what Dave said. Dave mentioned the A word, which usually is a bad thing, but with this team, it's a good thing. Attitude. He brings that attitude.
Really? Kevin Durant's, saltiness doesn't bring it enough?
No, but here's what I'm thinking in my head. I'm hoping he comes out and he's basically kind of what Draymond Green used to be. Where
he can spread the technicals out.
Yeah, kind of that way. But it's like he is the enforcer on this team. You mess with Steph, you're coming through me. And I'm hoping that maybe with him out there, him and Draymond kind of form like
They're the Bash Brothers.
They're the Bash Brothers in the Warriors, and it's like double enforcers. Because
is Ron Artest still out there?
He technically is, but I got to get something off my chest.
They still have a roster spot now with McCaw. Just sign Ryan Artest to give.
I got to get the
goons out there.
We usually don't talk about the Warriors.
The G word over there, strong.
So I haven't been able to talk about this. I can't stand it when I hear Kevin Durant's missing shots over here. Draymond Green can't shoot over here. Is this the year the Warriors won't win? No, Let's wait till the playoffs. They're going to get Boogie back, which is not going to be a negative. It's like you could have stopped at, will it be a positive? Yes. That's the answer to your question.
Oh,
yes.
Look, they're adding a fifth
like,
All-Star
oh my
to
God,
this
they're getting Boogie Cousins
my thing is,
on
like,
this team.
Yes, it's a fifth All-Star. And yes, I'm just trying to play.
No.
Because
I understand.
Because obviously, in the end, if it works out, then we're going to be talking about one of the greatest teams of all time.
Yeah.
Because, you have so much talent on this team. But we look at this team, Klay is struggling. Draymond is struggling. They're just backing off on him. And maybe that's going to even help this team even more when DeMarcus comes back, because then you have another guy you need to worry about. That's going to leave Draymond even more wide open, and maybe that's going to help him gain his confidence even more, or maybe try to prove guys wrong, and he'll start hitting shots from the outside, and then there you go. The offense is kind of back in sync because Klay's missing a ton of shots. He's taking a lot of mid-range shots too, not shooting from the outside as much.
It's uncharacteristic, yeah.
So I just wonder, how will it be able to kind of right the system again? Will adding this back in help this offense? And that's how I wonder, what will this offense look like in your mind, Dave, if it's at its peak performance? How will it look like with all 5 players out there, DeMarcus Cousins, Kevin Durant, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, and Steph Curry out there on the floor at its peak, running well? How will it look?
I think it's going to be really impressive, and it's going to be pass heavy. It's kind of like a take back to the older Warriors team that we saw, where the ball movement was absolutely key. If there's one coach I trust in this league to utilize 5 guys like this, it is Steve Kerr. He is creative. He will find the best way to do it. And I think that Draymond is going to get back closer to the median, to the mean, what he used to be. He might not be that all-NBA defender like you said this year, but I think his defense will come back because you have another body down low to bang, and that takes a lot of effort out of him when he's going up against bigger guys night in, night out. So I think that defensively, they're going to be fine. Offensively, I look at Boogie to make up for when Steph isn't healthy. They continue with ball movement because he is one of the best handling bigs in the NBA. Yes, his turnover numbers look horrendous because of the ball and because of his usage, but I think that his ability to create opportunities for the other guys out there when he sucks guys down into the low post or when he goes to the top of the key with the ball, they have to respect him. It forces defenses to play differently around him. So when he can do that, other guys are going to get open looks. Like you said, Draymond Green will get open looks. I think I'm a little concerned with Klay, but he has that ability. He could be shooting 12% from 3.
Remember
game, he's just gonna go.
Remember how crappy he was shooting, and it's he had that playoff game where he went off.
He hasn't gone back.
He had one game this year where he raised 6% or something.
Well, no, I'm not even saying that. It's in the playoffs against the Rockets. It's wow, they might have Klay's number, and then boom, he went off, and it's oh,
and he was playing incredible defense to make up for his lack of shooting, but then his shooting came back anyway. So. No, I mean, that's the concern for me is Klay needs to be right as far as his three-point shooting, at least be much closer to what he used to be. I think that Boogie changed the way the offensive system flows because of how much of a threat he is to other teams and his ability to facilitate. He's a game changer on that end.
Well, because he'll suck people in, then Klay's open.
But how much of this? How much do you think he'll be able to buy into this? Because when we talk about the big personality, and if he is not buying into this, and especially trying to prove himself coming back from injury, if this is his time to be all right, I need to be able to prove myself to get money this offseason. How is he going to be able to be he's just fit in and he'll be working the ball around? If
he could buy into it with the Pelicans, who are nowhere near a ring,
but he was getting more usage.
But I think
he was still getting level usage that he was used to.
I think that DeMarcus Cousins, if we were talking Sacramento Kings DeMarcus Cousins, I'd be on the same board of hey, you know what? I don't think this attitude is going to be good. But from what I saw in New Orleans, in a market that is not like anywhere in California, any of the California teams, and it's something where when you add that chance to win a ring for a player who has not won it yet, I think that is going to be enough of a reason for him to buy in on it. And I feel like everything would the Warriors are so bad right now. It's the worst that we've seen this team. A, it's hard to three-peat. 2, this has probably been the only year where I would say the talent around the league is a little bit easy, not easier, but a little bit better, a little bit more parity than we've seen in the past. And this is the most we've seen this team struggle to where they're going to be fine. They're going to make the playoffs. Boogie's going to help them win games. And then they're going to cruise through the playoffs, and we're going to look back and go, man, remember in December when we thought they were in trouble? And then we'll laugh at ourselves.
I think the thing to keep in mind is winning makes people happier. And like Ricky said, Sacramento, he was pissed because they just weren't winning. They were unable to build talent around him. He went to New Orleans. They showed they loved him. They showed they gave a shit about him again, and he was happy because he was winning. Like you said, he was the center of their offense. Like he was taking over because AD was not healthy at that point in time. We barely got to see them play together. It was basically like a handoff of, oh, AD's back and Boogie's gone. But I think that him going to a winning culture like the Warriors, where his role isn't going to be as big, and you said it, is he going to be trying to play for that contract? Do you think he's going to try to be balling out? I think that's going to be okay because there are going to be certain nights where he's going to be the guy. He's going to be the go-to guy. They're very much whoever's hot is going to run this team, and I love that because we watched when Steph and Klay struggled in the playoffs, and you're like, oh, we'll just give the ball to Kevin tonight. Like, we'll just let Kevin run ISO and just win us a game. Like, they have that ability to just flip up and be like, which one do we want to go to tonight? This one. Let's give you the ball and let you run the offense. Like, Steve Kerr is going to let this team run the way they want to run, which is wonderful because he's like the ultimate player's coach when he's out there. But I don't think that we're going to see too many problems. The only thing that I think is going to be concerning is his attitude when it comes to his own teammates. I think that he is more likely to get into a fight with Kevin Durant and Draymond Green than anybody else. We joke about Draymond and KD yelling at each other, screaming at each other. You can see it on the sidelines. They don't always get along so great. And maybe we're blowing too much out of this, but it's enough that we've seen it publicly. Yeah. And I think Boogie easily could be in that same realm. So having another explosive personality like that.
But to DeMarcus's credit, we didn't see that at all in New Orleans. He was nothing but a good locker room presence.
Correct.
And then, so far through the Warriors, who was breaking up that fight like publicly on the Staples Center floor?
It was
DeMarcus. So I think that maybe we might be blowing that up too much. And most of DeMarcus's
things to look out for.
But most of DeMarcus's big fights have just been with the coach. Yeah, so if him and Steve Kerr are gelling together, might be fine.
That's true.
I just worry about the way that Klay's been performing. It's been like 6 games. He hasn't been over 20 points per game or 20 points at all in those games. I think his most he scored was 16, which is very worrisome for a scorer like Klay Thompson. You look at Draymond Green. Again, his inability to work offensively is going to damage this team because it's going to hurt ball movement. Because, again, who is he going to pass it to if they're going to be expecting a pass because Draymond's not going to shoot and he's not dangerous to score at all. So that's going to take away his inability. Maybe adding DeMarcus will help them regain their confidence. And obviously, if Klay and Draymond are regaining their confidence, this team is going to be dangerous. But what if, in the playoffs, they don't find their confidence? Or they start losing their confidence. The confidence starts wavering. Do you think this is the most susceptible the Warriors have been in the past 3 years?
Yes and no. I'm going to say yes because obviously this is the most losses with the KD Warriors that they've had up to this point. They had 7.
But do losses reflect the true nature of this team?
And that's where I'm going to go with is this is the most losses they've had up to this point. Last year they were at 7, which was last year was the most losses they've ever had with KD out of the 2 that we've seen. And I'm going to say no to your second question because
what do you mean 7?
They had
up until this
point.
They
had 7 at the December 27th mark. They had 7 losses.
Okay.
They finished the year at 24, which was the most that they've ever had with KD. Yeah, I know it was only 2 seasons, but it was the most that they ever had. Now I feel like to answer your second one, this is the most scrutinized team in the NBA where they are so perfect that we have to find things like this to nitpick them with. And the thing that I'm going to go back to what you said, you mentioned earlier how their best lineups were ones that had a center in it. The reason why is when the center is playing well for them, that can collapse guys into the paint, open up their shooters on the outside, kick it out. And like Dave said, what does Boogie do well? He can pass the ball. You pass it into Boogie, like Steph drives, passes it to Boogie. Boogie can then make kind of like I'm thinking football now, like an audible decision or like a read option decision. Do I go up with it or has everyone collapsed? Oh, shoot, Klay's open in the corner. I'm going to dish it off to Klay, and then Klay might be able to make that shot because everybody is collapsed. Not just Steph, who has drove into the lane, but also DeMarcus Cousins, because you cannot anymore with the Warriors be like, hey, we don't have to respect their 5. No, you have to respect their 5 once Boogie's out there.
I agree with that. And if he's coming back healthy, which, again, we really haven't touched upon too much. I mean, Dave has mentioned Elton Brand was really the only person that took this long to come back, and again, no one comes back to the same player that they were.
But let's be
and there
honest.
haven't been a ton of footage of what Boogie has looked like. One of them, he was not looking extremely crisp. It was I think the first dunk I saw him throw down.
Yeah.
It was kind of like run like a gazelle. Super awkward. But again, we don't know fully if he was just goofing around. And then obviously we saw the KD stuff, and that was just in practice, so we can't really take in too much of it. But I think there is some reason to worry because you look back at 2016, 2017. They were first in points per game. They were first in offensive rating. Then last year, they were first in points per game. They were third in offensive rating. This year, they're fourth in points per game, and then they're first in offensive rating. But you look at the defensive side, and that's where it's really starting to hurt them. 11th in opponents' points per game in 2016, 2017, and then second in defensive rating. Last year, they were 18th in opponent points per game and 11th in defensive rating. Now they are at 16th in defensive rating, so bottom of the league. This is the first time they've ever been bottom of the league in defensive rating, and then 22nd in opponents' points per game. So they are not the same defensive team they are, and we're not talking about DeMarcus Cousins as the staunch defender in any way.
Much.
He's not a guy that shows hustle on that side. So, yes, the offense might get better, and it might be that mindset of we just need to outscore our opponents, which obviously makes sense. That's how you win games. But you're just going to not play defense. You're just going to try to outscore them. I do worry, though, when it comes to the playoffs and you're going up against a team like maybe the Rockets, if they're able to fully right the ship and Chris Paul's healthy, maybe they will be able to give you struggles defensively. Maybe you go up against a team that, like the Lakers, who play great defense, will give you those struggles. They just kicked your ass on Christmas Day. I think there is a ton of susceptibility on this Warrior team, and probably the most we've seen in the KD era, just because of their inability to play high-level defense, stemming from Draymond's struggles this year, stemming from Steph's injuries, stemming from Clay's lack of confidence, and now adding DeMarcus, who isn't like a great rim protector, who isn't a full effort guy defensively.
Yeah.
I think this might add to something where you might get too rich, where maybe less is more with the Warriors, and maybe you just need to realize that, hey, Jonas Jerebko is definitely not as good as DeMarcus Cousins, but he does add something that is just necessary, and that's, again, adding ball movement that we have seen before with the Warriors to work, but he's not, overpowering a team. And I think DeMarcus might walk that fine line of he might overpower the Warriors in some ways where, again, it might make them, it might reveal more chips in the armor.
Yeah, I completely agree that they have struggled, and I think that he does not fix it. Boogie coming back does not fix that. But at the end of the day, like, this team's enemy is just their own health. Like, if they can't stay healthy, they're not going to win a championship. I'll just say that. Because if you look at, you mentioned all their numbers this year, much worse than the past, but you look at the games played for everybody, and, like, Steph has been consistently injured throughout his entire career. Like, that was a known going in, and he's kind of been true to that. Clay, healthy, but underperforming, and you're getting Draymond on and off again. Like, I think their biggest enemy is just, if they can stay healthy, they're going to be able to contend for a championship again easily. But if they're losing one of their guys out there, like, it's gonna be rough.
Like, Draymond's played, 22 compared to the 36 that like Durant's played, and Steph 25 compared to that 36.
Right. So I just their only enemy really is health.
All right, well, outside of that, like, who is their true enemy team-wise? Either in the Western Conference or Eastern Conference, who poses the biggest threat outside of themselves to the Warriors this year in the NBA?
When health is 100%, I'm saying the Lakers. The reason why, you got LeBron, who knows this team. You got Luke Walton, who knows this team. It's like having an enemy on the other side. And the Christmas Day match, as much as I want to say it's nothing that the regular season, in the playoffs it'd be different, that series would be one that I'd really like to see. LeBron and Luke Walton's Lakers going up against these Warriors.
You're not too far away from seeing it right now. Warriors at 3, Lakers at 7. So
well,
obviously,
and even
obviously it's way too early in the season to say anything. But
and I'm already looking that
close.
way, Sean, because then if the Warriors beat the Rockets, who they would play if the playoffs started today, who could they play in the next round? The Lakers.
Well, also, I mean, like, they're pretty much tied.
Yeah.
The OKC and Golden State, 22 and 12, and the 23 and 13, both a game and a half back of the Nuggets. Dave, who poses the biggest threat, either in the Eastern Conference or Western Conference?
At home in the West, I'm looking at OKC again. I'm still riding high on their defense is just ridiculous. So if there's a team to shut them down, give me OKC. Their defense is amazing. Westbrook and Paul George, together, they found it right now, and they're running with it. Their young guys are giving them enough energy off the bench, so I like them. Overall, I still lean Raptors, which is weird because I'm not even 100% that they're going to make it out of the East for some reason, because I think that Celtics are going to figure their shit out at some point this year.
And the Raptors have proven that they're a regular season team.
Yeah, but the difference is Kawhi Leonard's a straight up closer. Like, that man is just, he's a to Stephen A. Smith, he's a bad man. Like, watching that Raptors team, and again, he's playing at his own will right now. It's basically there's a back-to-back way. I'm gonna pass. I'm gonna stay home. I'm gonna keep myself healthy. Make sure general soreness, yes. But when they are clicking, holy crap! That team, defense, depth, offense from everywhere out there. Pascal Siakam's growth, and we haven't even seen like OG Anunoby hit back to that level that he played at last year, where he was a sniper from the corner. So I look at that Raptors team and I'm just like, that's a complete team right there. That they can go up against anybody and pose a solid threat.
I feel like if you're going to go to Stephen A., you got to go full into it and go, Max, bruh, that dude is a bad man. You got to do it just like Stephen A. if you're going to lean into it like that.
As much as I'd love to say the Denver Nuggets, they're going to get probably their ass kicked if they play them in the playoffs this year. I think they need a little bit more growth.
But what if they have an entire healthy Denver Nuggets team, something we haven't seen?
I still think they get their ass kicked.
Oh, okay.
Because you look at what the Golden State Warriors offense is, and it's built so much on switching. And if you're using Steph and DeMarcus Cousins in switches, and you're attacking Nikola Jokic, you're either putting Steph on Jokic, which Steph will cook him, or you're putting Jokic trailing back to the basket and using DeMarcus Cousins' strength, where we know that Jokic isn't a good rim protector.
Yeah.
And he's good defensively in some ways. Like, he's very good at reading defenses. He's good at jumping lanes. He's decent with positioning. But he's not aggressive enough defensively, where DeMarcus will attack him and will bully him, and we've seen that before with guys like AD taking advantage of Jokic. I think it's too much of a flaw right now, although they have been much better defensively. I think the biggest threat, though, isn't the Raptors. I don't think it's Lakers. I think OKC's up there because of their ability to play defense.
Yeah.
But I think the biggest team would probably be the Bucks, just because of their ability to move the ball. This team has been fantastic this year. We've seen them at their peak. They can move the ball like no other team can. They can attack like no other team can with Giannis Antetokounmpo. No one can take a game over more like Giannis Antetokounmpo in the Eastern Conference. I'd say he's probably better at taking a game over in the Eastern Conference than Kawhi Leonard, Kyrie Irving. Probably fourth most dangerous offensive player outside of KD, Steph, and LeBron when hot. I don't think that's something to disagree with, right?
I think Giannis is probably the fourth. He's predictable. He has no outside shot.
Then why has no one stopped him?
Stopped him. They slowed him down. But I'm just saying, in the playoffs, who saved his ass last year? Chris Middleton.
And Chris
who's
Middleton,
playing really poorly right now? Chris Middleton.
And who's also playing really poorly? Klay Thompson, Draymond Green. Yeah. It's not like the Warriors are good right now.
No, I'm just saying, like, I don't think that Giannis. Yes, he's unstoppable when he's driving to the lane because it takes him 3 steps from half court. But like, 3.
We saw it on Christmas Day. It was 6. 6 and 1 dribble.
Wouldn't that be a travel at some point?
No, because it was like gather step, 1-2 dribble, gather step, 1-2 dribble.
I think Kawhi is more dangerous than him because everything that Giannis can do, Kawhi can do plus shooting from the outside. Mm-hmm. Like, they're both monsters defensively. They can both drive to the lane. Giannis has the advantage in the 0 to 3 foot range 100% because he can close that distance like nothing and slam. But there's just something about Kawhi Leonard, and it's just like he's got it all. He's a complete package of shooting. He is fearless.
I don't know.
I'm taking him over Giannis.
If you're telling me a guy is averaging, shooting 60% from the field because he's driving the whole time.
Yeah.
I don't know who can stop him.
Well,
like who's gonna go up and block Giannis Antetokounmpo outside
Well, I
Noah
just
Vonleh?
think back to last year.
When you talk about the Giannis stopper and you mentioned Noah Vonleh's name, and then you go, all right, well,
it was a joke.
I know.
He put up 34 on the next. But I'm saying, who's putting up near 60% shooting, 6 assists, 26.5 points per game.
Last year we watched the Celtics kind of expose him, and they did the same thing to Ben Simmons when they're like, oh, your entire game is driving to the lane. We're going to stop you from doing that. We're going to slow you down heavily. Maybe not stop, but we're going to take away your number one option and make you beat us somehow else.
And that's what I was going to say of like with the Celtics.
Yeah.
That was a team also where it was like, oh, without Kyrie, without Gordon Hayward, Giannis should be able to shine against this team of rookies. And then, yes, I know they played up to it, but who won that series in 7 games? It was not the Bucks. Series. And now it's like if you're giving a team Kawhi, I might agree with Dave and lean towards Kawhi.
This is another year of Giannis being in the playoffs. Giannis is only getting better.
He's gotten better.
Last
somehow.
year, again,
got better.
He had 25.7, shooting 57% from the field, 6.3 assists, only 2.4 turnovers.
Yeah.
Block a game.
I'm not trying to disrespect the man. I'm just saying that he leaned heavily on Chris Mid because they forced him to, and now Chris Mid's playing worse. While Bledsoe's playing better, I still don't know that team.
But everyone has their ups and downs, and we can't say right now in December going into January that Chris Middleton's not going to be good in the playoffs.
That's fair.
And I think one thing too, again, I think if we're talking about the most dangerous threat, they're dangerous defensively. They can create turnovers, and we're talking about this Warriors team that they have gotten more progressively worse over the past 3 years defensively. So although Giannis might be able to be stopped, it's very tough to guard him going to the bucket, and he's shown himself to be a capable passer. Yeah. And we've seen this team, when that ball movement's flowing, they can be one of the best offensive teams in the league alongside of one of the best defensive teams. I think if we're talking about just sole threats to the Warriors, I think the Bucks probably proved the greatest threat, because we're talking about the Raptors, who outside of Kawhi Leonard, none of them showed up in the playoffs. We're talking about Kyle Lowry, who's the second best player, and he's been nothing but a choke artist the past 3 or 4 years. I mean, I'm not trying to bash the guy, but it's been the truth. It's why they traded DeMar DeRozan for Kawhi Leonard, because those two weren't going to get done in the playoffs.
Absolutely.
We look at the Los Angeles Lakers. LeBron hasn't gotten to be able to get, although he's been playing them, he hasn't been able to get it done. He has one win against him in the playoffs the past 2 years. Like, LeBron is a dangerous player. But we also just talked about last segment that the guys around him, and Kyle Kuzma,
Kuzma is your most dangerous too.
Brandon Ingram, I was going to call him Brian Ingram. Brandon Ingram, like, they're not extremely dangerous. We don't know what they're going to do in the playoffs. It's their first time in the playoffs. The Bucks have been there. They have the most dangerous player in my mind in the Eastern Conference, and they can play great defense. They can move the ball. So I would say the most dangerous threat.
Intriguing.
Anyways, it's going to do it for the Warriors talk. Any final thoughts?
No.
I said final thoughts like 10 minutes ago.
Boogie's going to be dope.
I like the Eastern Conference talk here at the end. I was just sitting back and listening.
Little nice bonus.
I just feel like this is going to be a segment that comes and bites me in the ass, because I was like, "Oh, Warriors bad," and then it's going to. I'm not saying they're not going to win.
I was going to say, like, when they go on a roll and lose one game in the playoffs.
Well, my thing is, I'm not
wait till June.
My thing is, I'm not writing that off. I think that they will definitely still win the finals. I just think that maybe if
challenge-wise, you think the hardest team will be the Bucks?
No, I get it. I get it. Sean's bored of seeing the Warriors win, and you would like someone new to win, right? That's a little bit of it.
Oh. Okay. It's not at all.
Because I could see,
I think that they are the best team in the. I think they're the best team in the NBA, and I just have questions about this team. I just don't want to say like, oh, they're the greatest team of all time right now, because so far they haven't proved that they're the greatest team right now. They're not the number one team in their fucking conference. They weren't last year, and yes, they came back and still won the title. But we're looking at a team that their best player, Steph Curry, is consistently hurt. We look at Kevin Durant not having his best season. We look at Klay Thompson clearly not having his best season. Draymond Green isn't up to par, and we're talking about DeMarcus Cousins being their savior, and he's coming off an Achilles injury where people are notably known for getting injured. I'm just saying this team might be able to finally be beaten. And I think if the team's going to do it might be the Bucks.
With all that being said, they're still, half game out of first?
Yeah.
I mean, for second. Again, I'm not saying that they're not the most talented team in the NBA. I'm just saying that, again, they might be the most susceptible they've ever been.
That's fair.
I'm going to stop using that word because I can't say it.
Susceptible.
Right. But let's move into our favorite weekly topic. We are talking about the dampest of dudes, the moistest of men's, the soggiest of shooters. We are talking about the wettest of boys. If you don't know what a wet boy is, these are the guys that absolutely went off over the past week, had historic performances, had impressive numbers, did something very spectacular, warmed our hearts in some cases. These are our wet boys. We do have a counter. Last year, our wet boy of the year was LeBron James, and I think we might have a new leader, or at least a new tie.
We've got two new ties.
Two new ties at the top. Ricky, tell us about that tie.
No, well, mine is the first of those to be tied, and that is Derrick Rose. Popped off this week, mainly getting the MVP chance from the hometown Chicago crowd, as I'm going to call it, because, no, Derrick Rose is from our city. We love our guys. We love our homegrown, even though he's not with us anymore.
We're trying to convince him to come back.
I can't wait until we get a hometown discount next year for Derrick Rose to come back and play some point guard for us. Right. But almost 25 points this week, 8 assists, rounded up to 9, shooting ridiculously from the field at 48%. Dude popped off. Dude deserves a wet boy and is now tied with AD at the top.
Dave, and I'm not trying to bash you.
Yep.
How much of this was just the fact that you love Derrick Rose. And
It was either
that
him or
game.
Zach. That was my.
So he was
my.
going
What
to
about Devin Booker? He put up 30 and 10
Devin Booker played really,
over
really
4
good.
games.
Really, really good.
Luka with that crazy shot outside of the one bag.
I'm the only one to give Luka love on Wet Boys. Just saying.
Yeah, but I
I
didn't give him love because we already took the 2 best players. There was 2 clear ones that Dave and I picked. So then you had to go away from it. I think D Rose was a homer pick.
100%.
Well, I like D Rose.
He's allowed to do it.
You like D Rose, but I feel like this. If he wins Wet Boy of the Year, he's a sham.
I will also be honest too. What kind of leaned into it about 15% is
Was
the
it
guy.
The picture?
No. The guy that Dave picked would be tied with AD also, and I couldn't let him be the only one tied with AD. I just couldn't do it, so I had to have someone else. That was about 10%.
He's gaming the system, man.
But really,
Jesus Christ.
Derrick Rose did have a good week, and I want to give him love because he my boy and he my wet boy.
Let's talk about guys who actually deserve it.
I feel bad for Giannis. Giannis puts up stupid numbers. We're like, oh, D Rose. Have you given D Rose 2 of them? Because I think Dave gave him 1.
Well, he's now got 3.
Yeah,
so
I gave him
know.
1.
You gave him 1?
I think I gave him 1.
Anyways, Dave, I think you've been giving this guy all of his love, but it's been warranted.
I gave him 1 last week.
All right, it's been warranted.
It's well deserved. James Harden, the beard, man, he is turned up a notch. Everybody's like, well, Chris Paul's hurt, this team's struggling, and James Harden's like, bro, I'll see you at the free throw line. Like 11 free throw attempts a game this week, putting up 42 points, 7 assists, 4 boards, 40-40 shooting splits. Can't complain about that at all. He has been a monster for this Rockets team. They're 3-0 this week, or in the past 7 days. Yeah, that's a week. I'm good at math.
Good job.
But no, like he's just. You might not like the way he plays basketball, but you can no longer deny the fact that he is one of the best scorers we've ever seen in the NBA. Like I'm talking top 10 scorer in the NBA history. Like he is.
Really?
Yeah. Can you think of a guy like who gets as many buckets as he does? We're talking about last year's MVP, the runner-up to MVP the year before, the runner-up to MVP the year before that, the runner-up to MVP the year before that. Like, give him some credit. I know people literally call him Hitler. Like, they don't Sorry, that's Reddit. Like,
it's way too harsh.
That's what it is. Like, people don't like the game because it slows the game down, but because of him getting to the line, he forces players to play differently because he gets them in foul trouble. He forces situations that are lose-lose on other teams' defenses, and now that Capello's back and playing healthy, oh my God, that Rocket team is steamrolling. I love it.
You think he's one of the top 10 greatest scorers of all time?
Yeah.
Michael Jordan.
Yep.
Kevin Durant.
Yep.
LeBron James.
Yep.
Kareem.
Yep. Kobe Bryant.
Kobe.
Wilt.
Kevin Durant.
You already said Kevin Durant once.
I did?
Yep.
All right. Wilt.
Yep.
AI.
Yep.
So would you, anyone else you want to throw out there for sure?
Let me think.
You can toss out the mailman if you want. Like, I just disrespect him
but he
constantly.
wasn't a scorer. He was more of a.
I mean, he was longevity.
Yeah.
And also one of the best point guards that was distributing at a ton.
Helped them a lot.
I would say that James Harden's a more dangerous scorer than Carmelo.
Yeah,
I didn't watch him.
Because
Bird?
You said LeBron already, right?
Yeah, you did.
What about Magic? Did you say Magic?
wasn't a great scorer.
Okay.
Not to James Harden's level.
No. I mean, Harden's had so many games over 40, it's not even funny.
Bird?
No. He's on a different level.
So
that's what I'm saying. He's a top 10 all-time scorer. And, like, the argument's there for him getting into the top 5 range if he continues what he's been doing as of late. So, I just think from a number standpoint, he's just... Like, people disrespect him because they hate the way he plays.
Yeah, I don't like watching him play. Yeah. I'm not saying that he's not a great player. I do not like watching him
I've never sworn more at my TV or friends around me when he plays than watching James Harden play because you're like, oh my God, he's so dirty. Yeah. He's grabbing people's arms. He's flailing. He's flopping. It doesn't matter. But he gets his points, and you have to respect it.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, even though I don't like him play, I mean, it's not even, like, he's not always scoring dirtily.
No,
like so. I mean,
he's
I mean, what he's been doing recently has been extremely impressive. I mean, you already talked about the 42 or 41 he put up. Right now he's averaging 32, which is going to be the longest or the highest points per game if he keeps it up in a very long time.
He's on a Kobe-esque run of just ridiculously high-scoring games.
Would you put Dirk on the list?
Dirk's longevity. He was never someone who put up 30-plus a year
when it comes to
these are the
strict scoring, I would say Dirk's a better player, but I would say...
Because these are the total points, I'll do top 10, as of, this would have been the 19th of this year, December 19th. You've got Kareem at 1, Karl at 2, the Mamba at 3, the GOAT at 4, the LeBron James At 5, the King. Thank you. Wilt Chamberlain at 6. Dirk at 7. Shaq at 8. Moses Malone at 9. Alvin Hayes at 10. And then Hakeem and Oscar at 11 and 12.
D. Wade.
And Dominique at 13.
Would you put him up above James Harden?
He's a better scorer than D. Wade.
Really?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Even prime D. Wade. I remember prime D. Wade in like 06.
08, 09, he had his highest of
What about
30.
Allen Iverson?
We put AI.
Okay.
Like, and I even think that he's in the same realm as AI. Like, there's an argument to be made for a couple of those guys.
Reggie Miller?
Reggie Miller's overrated.
No.
Paul Pierce?
I don't think
He's a way better scorer than Paul
I don't
Pierce.
think Reggie Miller even had a fucking season over 25.
I don't think he did. I think his best season was like 24. But no, I just think that
Hit them threes, though.
it doesn't matter. He's overrated.
He's overrated. His highest was 21.
Jesus.
No, I'm sorry, 24.
Yeah,
I
Reggie
thought it
Miller
was
was a good
24,
player.
24,
He's a good
26.
player, but
Yeah, but
I don't think he's overrated.
he'd be like Klay Thompson today. Like, Klay Thomps's much
A
right.
little bit
Better.
higher than Klay Thompson.
Really?
Clay might be better.
That's what I think Klay might be better than him as a player.
Yeah.
That's
We'll
all
have to
I'm saying.
compare. Oh, I can compare Reggie Miller. Keep talking. Let's compare on Basketball Reference. All right, get results.
But I just think that like he gets so much more hate than's garnered, and what he's done in the past 4 years is pretty unprecedented. So I think the disrespect is over the top. I think a lot of players want to hate him because of the way he plays, and like I said, he's dirty at times. But when your last 4 years are 29, 29, 30, and right now 32 on this year, come on. I literally haven't seen anyone score like him since Kobe.
Reggie's obviously played more longer, so he had shorter span. But Reggie averaged 18 a game. Klay 19 a game. Klay shot 41% from three throughout his career. Reggie shot 39, and Klay has more attempts. Reggie shot better from the field, 47 compared to Klay's 56. Klay was taking more shots though. Reggie had more assists, 3 a game compared to 2.3. Reggie has better defensive stats.
Yeah,
Reggie
that's
better
surprising, actually.
free throw shooter from the line. 1.1 steals compared to 0.9 steals, and then
I would look
Klay
at
has
like
actually more
advanced
blocks.
stats for that.
So actually, that's along the lines. Advanced.
I mean, you truly can't know.
Klay has a
because
higher
back in the day-
usage.
Yeah.
What were we talking about?
I was just saying, like, advanced stats kind of suck for when we're comparing between eras, too, because hand checking was a key part of Reggie Miller's toolkit.
Per 100 possessions, Reggie 121 offensive rating and 109 defensive rating, and Klay 108 offensive rating compared to 108 defensive rating. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Reggie's good, but I still think
I'm not the person to talk about
overrated.
it because I was not in
That's
Reggie
fair.
Miller's era. But
Yeah.
anyways, I was in this guy's era, and maybe he does have an argument if he was a little bit more healthy to be one of the best scorers. Because I think he hasn't had health. He was playing with LeBron James. Kyrie Irving, 29 points per game this past week, 6 of 6, 6 boards, 57% from the field, 50% from three. Had a fuck you three in that Philadelphia
He really
76ers
did.
OT thing. I think it was off a steal or off a rebound. Something happened, comes up the court on the right side and just fires up a three. They were up, I think, maybe one. And he does not waste any time, pulls up with three, sinks it, put up 40 on Christmas, and then followed it up with the game before with 25, in the game following, and a loss against Houston with 23. Kyrie, when Kyrie's on, Kyrie's healthy, is absolutely fun to watch. And the one thing, too, there's something about D Rose on Reddit saying, like, D Rose is one of those guys that, he's always trying to look for contact but doesn't get a ton of foul calls.
Yeah.
And doesn't go to the line a ton. Kyrie's the same way. I looked this up. I'm not counting this free throw because it was a technical foul.
Yeah.
Or it was a 3-second thing.
Oh,
so he didn't
yeah.
get fouled and went to the line, or he wasn't in the act of shooting. So I'm not counting it, but there was only 6 players ever to take 33 or more shot attempts in a game and not go to the line. Kyrie was one of them on Christmas. It was Hakeem. In 97, he had 40 attempts and had 48 points. Did not go to the line. Rick Barry in 75 had 34 attempts, put up 34 points, did not go to the line. Cassie Russell, 35 attempts, had 34 points, did not go to the line. D Rose in 2015, 33 attempts, 30 points. Gilbert Arenas, 2005, 35 attempts and 27 points. Kyrie, 33 attempts and no shooting fouls. So something very impressive that he did.
Yeah.
He became the 6th player with
Derrick
33
Rose
attempts.
just falls awkwardly all the damn time. So, like, refs just don't give him the benefit. Like, we know you can't stand up on your own, man.
Anyways, Kyrie picking up the slack for the whole Boston team offensively. Let's move into our fantasy updates, though. Fast break, currently sitting at 89 points, 4th comfortably fourth. In fantasy, we are behind Team Grantham with 91 points.
Ooh,
the Big
close.
Ballers with 101.5, and our good old boy Kyle sitting at Phila 076ers at 102 points.
Is it weird that now we're like one of the worst teams in rebounds? Like we were so worried about like free throw percentage. Wasn't our rebounds not that bad?
Our rebound, we're second in rebound.
Yeah, I say we're 12.
Am I thinking?
12 out of
Okay,
13
I'm thinking of it the other way.
Yeah, no.
I thought lower number was better for a second. I was thinking
higher number. Higher number is better because then the points are all added up.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So right now, field goals, we are sitting at 5th.
So we are still garbage at free throw percentage.
Field goal percentage, we are about middle of the pack. Free throw, we are still bottom 3. Kyle Craig still of the Philadelphia 76ers. He's bottom at
you just don't care.
Free throw percentage. But yeah, and then Team Kraft at bottom 2, and then we're sitting at 3.
Yeah, but like every other rebound, assist,
It's funny
steals,
though.
blocks,
made
he's in first.
Yeah.
Points, like
He's in third for 3-pointers made, but in second to last for 3-point percentage.
so they make those shots, but they're chucking
Look at his
of
team and see who's bricking them. But 3-pointers
was he
made
the one
were
with Levine?
5th.
Yeah.
3-pointers were at 4th. Rebounds were in 2nd.
No.
Assists were at
No, it
3. Steals were at 3. Blocks we are at 5th. And points we are at 5th as well.
Shea, Drew, Fournier, LeBron.
Oh, Fournier?
Rudy,
Darren,
Covington, AG, Aaron Gordon, Jarrett Allen, Eric Gordon, Serge, Bogdanovich from the Kings, and then Muscala.
It's a solid team.
Yeah, I was going to give Bogey a wet boy, too.
Yeah, I was close for that shot.
For that
Yeah.
shot.
He didn't have any other great games outside of that. Yeah, I feel like we have a better team than, De'Aaron, I guess. De'Aaron's been a sleeper.
Yeah.
Gordon's been good.
Team just puts up points.
So what do we do as of late, Sean?
As of late, let me go to the transaction counter or whatever the fuck it is. Transaction counter. We have what the fuck? Where's the transaction stuff? Recent activity. All right. So we had JaVale McGee. I dropped him because he was injured. Picked up Dwayne Dedman. And then Dedman was day-to-day. So I dropped him, picked up Noah Vonleh. So right now we're rocking out with Noah Vonleh. Robert Williams just did become available, though. I don't know if we're interested or not. He's
I don't know if he
day-to-day.
gets enough minutes.
Yeah, he only had 11 and 8 in his last one. Guy ended up picking What's Up Nation. I think it's Jake. Ended up picking up C.D. Osman. G.D. Osman. Jetty Osman, whatever the fuck his name is. Lo Siento to Chetty Osman. No, Emmanuel picked up Cheedy? Chetty. Whatever. Sorry, Chetty. That's our thoughts. We're just trying to get healthy. That's the biggest thing with our team. So we're sitting at 89. Haven't dipped, which I'm pretty proud of.
Honestly, I'm happy. If we can sit in this range, like we're like 2 points out of third place, and then we get Boogie back in a week or two.
Mm-hmm. And Gary Harris will come back at some point. Otto Porter Jr. should come back at some point.
Isaiah Thomas at some point will be available. And
we could drop Otto Porter if we want. Pick up
I'm not ready to do that yet. IT's not. I actually don't know.
Dave, I'm not ready to do that yet.
Otto's actually giving us points and stats, even if he's not playing, as automatic as he used to be.
Yeah. Right now he's got 1.5 steals, which is good.
Yeah.
But yeah, only 11 points and about 1.5 threes per game. So far so good though. I'll say with our team. Yeah, we've gotten much better. We were pretty bad to begin the season.
Yeah, I remember we were in like 7th or 8th, right?
Yeah, we could always turn it around. So I'm happy with our team. But that's gonna be the fantasy update and for Wet Boys. But let's move into the last topic. We are finally very close to getting out of the Hades that is this room. Extremely hot. Notre Dame's playing in about a cool 50 minutes.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So we got to get out and see the Fighting Irish most likely lose to the Clemson Tigers. But let's get into some rumors that are happening. Anytime news happens on a podcast is talking about a podcast. So podcast talking about a podcast. Apparently Jackie McMullen, Jackie Mack, the great Dave, the website you sent us, I don't know if it's trustworthy. Spun a lot of scantily clad women's in the articles.
I just sent you an article. It was from a podcast that if you want to, I could just sent you to the podcast itself.
Yeah, but
listening
anyways,
is so much harder than reading. Sometimes.
On a recent episode of the Brian Windhorst, The Hoop Collective, ESPN podcast, Jackie Mack discussed the rumors that she has heard. McMullen says, let's say that Kevin Durant wants to come to Boston just for argument's sake. Some GM said to me the other day he gave Boston a visit during his free agency. When Horsey basically implied they finished second. McMullen, what I've learned, and maybe you guys already knew this, I did not. Kevin Durant and Kyrie are really tight. They worked out together during the offseason. They make a trip every year to an island, the Bahamas, and Jason Tatum was hanging out with them this summer and the summer before. Someone suggested to me, don't sleep on Kevin Durant, take another look at Boston, which I never considered. Also, if you're on the spun.com, you could find LeBron's DM girl, Heidi Hoback, went as a Laker girl for Halloween. We're also the top 50 athletes' wives and girlfriends. Also the top colleges with hottest co-eds and sororities. I don't know how to read.
Sobriety.
Sean, you
also have the most expensive fantasy bra and Victoria's Secret photos.
Sean, you know all those ads are from your browsing history?
No, they are not. No, because they're all
their actual stories.
He was thinking.
No, it's most recent content.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Legit.
So it's
legit content.
Yeah. So it's like the other one's like these two Michigan fans are going viral during Florida game. Anyways,
Michigan's rolling. Or Michigan's getting rolled right now. By the way.
Let's jump into the KD Celtic talk after 3 minutes. Most Celtic fans probably hate us right now.
They hate me already. Like I said a whole lot of things about the Celtics.
We were going to plan about talking about Justice Winslow, but this is obviously more juicy. Do you think that there is truth to this rumor? Do you think that there's not truth?
Is there smoke where there was fire?
Yeah, because he said that they finished.
Will it happen?
Yeah, they finished second. So do you think it will happen? And if it does happen, we'll get into this. If it does happen, how will they look? So first off, do you think it will happen, or what are at least the odds of Kevin Durant becoming a Boston Celtic?
About 90%.
Wow.
Yes, and I was thinking about this last night. And today, here, just take a journey with me, if you may. We've been with this Warrior Durant team for about 3 years. We know that good things don't last forever. We've already seen, as you said in the last segment before we did Wet Boys, the kind of little bit of weaknesses in the armor of the Warriors.
Yeah.
Draymond has even come out and said, you're not one of us. Basically, he said, you're not one of us. You're not one of the core. You are an add-on. Your home is not here. So playing with that into it. Also, you got to think of the landscape right now. Mm-hmm. LeBron, last time he was making a decision, LeBron was in the East. The East was the kingdom, basically. LeBron's land, as far as the eye could see.
Playoffs ran through Cleveland.
LeBron touched it, basically, and he didn't want to
Miami
do that.
Before that.
He goes to Golden State. Now that LeBron's in the West, you've got the Warriors in the West. Mm-hmm. You've got LeBron in the West. Mm-hmm. You've got the Rockets in the West. You've got the Thunders in the West. After this free agency, Kawhi Leonard might be in the West, meaning all you have left are a 76er team that can't get it done, a Raptors team that could be without Kawhi, and a Bucks team that we'll see how Giannis does in the playoffs because last year he got bounced in 7 by a rookie team.
He was playing phenomenally.
I get it.
He was really
playing
good.
phenomenally. He's got Budenholzer now. Let's see if that helps. I cannot see a situation where Kevin Durant looks at the East. And this is also if Kawhi Leonard goes to the West, this helps also. Looks at the 76ers, looks at the Pacers, the Raptors, the Bucks, the Hornets, Heat, Pistons, all these teams and goes, yeah, if I go to Boston, we're winning. We're riding right through the East, get us to the championship, and then let LeBron, the Warriors, the Rockets duke each other out to see who gets to play this now new super team in Boston.
Dave, what are your thoughts? Boston, KD.
I would love it. Personally, I think it would be hilarious to watch that happen. Like Ricky said, basically it's the old bait and switch. Everybody piles up in the West, and all of a sudden KD's like, yeah, I'll go join forces with Kyrie Irving and Jason Tatum, and we're just gonna wreck the entire Eastern Conference. And it's what the problem is. No one really knows what KD wants because KD's a liar. KD's a snake. Everybody's like, well, he said he wants to get paid money. Well, they can pay him money. This would only be possible via sign and trade deals. So we obviously have to see.
They have draft picks.
Well, they've got draft picks. They've got Al Horford's contract, which money-wise works out right in the right range. They could move, maybe a Brown and a Rozier, perhaps, in a sign and trade kind of deal.
Well, would they be able to move? Oh,
if it's a sign and trade, they would each sign and trade.
Okay.
Unfortunately, for that one to work, but I think Brown and a couple futures that they've maybe stockpiled for a star might be an interesting move. And then, I think a lot could happen, but I would love to absolutely see that team. The problem is I don't know if Kevin Durant actually wants to go to a team with Kyrie Irving Yeah, obviously they're friends. They're friendly.
Yeah.
But like I thought the whole KD thing was, KD's gonna go win one on his own, try to be his own man in his own market. And obviously right now
No, he just wanted to win one.
he might just want to win one
But
again.
if he does go to Boston, I think he is the guy on that team.
Oh yeah.
Because with Steph was an MVP before. He was, he's obviously one of the best scorers of our lifetime.
And we know how
at least my
fickle
lifetime.
Boston fans are with their point guards. They don't care. They just use them up, recycle them out.
Yeah, but the Danny Ainge. I've seen a lot of comments that people in Boston still miss IT.
Oh, well, that's fair.
He really won their hearts over.
He did. King of the Fourth was an awesome.
Same with Rondo too. So
Rondo's a pretty big boss.
I mean Boston has some badass point guards recently.
That's true.
But I think that I wouldn't put the percentage too high on him going to Boston, and I understand that he finished. They finished second last time he was a free agent, but that was also 3 years ago at this point. It's a different team, same coach. Obviously,
better team.
Yeah, better team. But I think it goes to the point that you were saying of I think that KD wants to be his own guy, and maybe he does go to the East because it might be a little bit weaker, at least when it comes to star power and star heaviness. But I think that there's going to be something that he does want to be the guy. And he wants to be, the guy to save a franchise in some way because that's what LeBron did. And, I could do it without, going back twice. I could do it on my first shot. I'm not doing it because it's my hometown. I'm doing it because I just want to, prove that I can take the worst of the worst and win a championship. And I think that's what he might want to prove. I'm not in KD's head. I'd never talked to KD. I don't know KD. This is just what I think. I think that he is very much trying to prove that he is the best player in the world. And I think the way that he could do that is do something that LeBron didn't do, not go to a big market, or maybe not a big market, but not to a team that has the second most championships, definitely not the team that has the first most championships in NBA history. I think you'd look at New York, something that, again, they haven't won a championship since 1970. Hell, maybe even Brooklyn, just because they have not won a championship now in Brooklyn. You look at another team, maybe I'm just throwing out Chicago just because of the fact this has been a team that hasn't been good since the 90s.
Yep.
This has been a team that struggled since Michael has left, and obviously there was the couple seasons with D Rose, but they still didn't win at all. Maybe he throws a big FU to LeBron and just goes to Cleveland. I don't think that's ever going to happen, but I think
That'd be insane.
Maybe even Charlotte. I don't know where he would go. Obviously, money plays into a huge factor of this. But I think that it's more of a thing that, Boston's too big. And maybe Boston, they have Kyrie, they have Jason Tatum, they have Horford, they have Hayward. I just don't know how it would all fit together.
It all comes down, Sean, I know you're going to hate me for saying this. It all comes down to one thing and one thing alone. How many rings you got in your fingers, man? How many? And Durant, after this year, could have 3 on his fingers, and by going to Boston, could add, let's say he goes there for another 3 years.
If it's all about rings, then why doesn't he just stay in Golden State?
Because LeBron's now in the West. You have the
if he wins a ring this year, that means he beats LeBron.
But
he beat LeBron the past 2 years.
Also,
why does it matter that LeBron's in the West?
This year, we're saying how there's a lot of things. Number one, we're saying how this is the most losses we've seen for a Warrior team, and we know good. Like I've said before, good things don't last forever. I'd rather get off on a high note, Brett Favre it, and hey, I want to leave after winning a championship, kind of like what he was not able to do, what he wanted to do. That's what everyone wants to do. I leave this Warrior team on a high note, John Elway. Leave this team on the high note, and the Lakers are just going to get better. So why would I stay in the West, have to compete with you before I even get to the finals, when I can go over to an Eastern Conference that is ripe for the picking and have an easier shot to get more rings?
And that's, I'm not disagreeing with you. I don't think if he wins more rings, people are going to see him better than LeBron James, and I don't think they should, because rings don't mean everything. I'm not even saying better than LeBron. I'm just saying, winning rings is, on your legacy, winning rings is very important. Well, and that's why I think he wants to go to a place that hasn't had that luxury before, because it's proving something that has not been done before. People have Golden State won a ring before Kevin Durant went there. Mm-hmm. Everyone called him a snake because he took the easy way to getting a ring. People don't see him as having a legit ring in ways. Some people do. I think that he kind of wore that off because of performance in the finals. Yeah. But that's why I always thought Toronto was a possibility, because if Kawhi leaves, they need a star. And if Kawhi leaves, you can prove, hey, I'm better than a top 5 player. I'm doing what Kawhi wasn't able to do, what DeMar wasn't able to do, something that has never been done before in Toronto and bring them a ring. And this is still going to be a good team if Kawhi leaves. You still have Kyle Lowry. You have a growing Pascal Siakam. You have a young team around that whole nucleus. I think there's a possibility that if Kawhi leaves and that opportunity opens up, that Toronto might end up being a more interesting place for Kevin Durant than Boston.
Be like the first time in history anyone would choose to go to Toronto, though.
Yeah, or choose to...
Exactly. So that's something that, like, he's doing something that's never been done before.
It's not going to happen, though.
You don't go from living in L.A. to choosing Toronto.
San Francisco.
San Francisco.
California.
He has a home in L.A., though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Like, that's the thing. Is I just... People
Well, they've all got homes in L.A.
They all have homes in L.A. Even Anthony Davis.
They have
wink,
a
wink, nudge,
fuck
nudge.
ton of money.
But yeah, you don't choose Toronto usually, and that's why they've struggled, and that's why they made the trade to get Kawhi there, try to win him over before he goes. I don't know. I just think that the star power that Boston provides, it's not the number one market in the USA, but it's not that far behind. It's still the most relevant sports team in NBA standards,
the city
behind
of
the
champions.
Lakers. So right there, you've got the history, you've got, playing with Kyrie, your buddy, playing with Jason Tatum, your buddy, and you've got the ability to walk into the Eastern Conference Finals, basically. It's up for grabs. It's in your hands because you now have the star power. And if they could, get anybody else healthy, looking at you, Hayward, maybe they could make something really interesting happen.
Real quick, though, then what's the difference between Boston and Toronto, city-wise? That's going to be that much of an effect.
I think that...
both East Coast, both cold as fuck, especially in the winter.
Boston's warmer than Toronto, though. They're a bit further south.
I know, but like when you're talking about
Canada,
Boston's still going to get pounded with a ton of
Are
snowstorms.
the taxes different for Canada?
I don't think taxes are going to be that much of a
that's
deal
why
when you're making this much money.
That's why in the NFL, why some people were choosing Jacksonville because of the tax heights.
Yeah,
Or
but that's
not
also
heights.
different because it's not guaranteed money.
Yeah, no,
Every
but
contract's guaranteed.
That
in
could
the
play
NBA.
into it too.
Also, KD's not really worried about taxes because he got so much money.
He
From
said
Nike.
he wanted to get paid this offseason, though. That was, and again, like I said, his words don't mean anything anymore. But
that's the thing is like a team that might be able to pay him is Toronto.
But
They don't have that.
by doing the sign and trade, basically Boston can give him equal max money to what Golden State could offer if they decide to go that route. If he goes to free agency, then he can't max out his money.
In what way?
Just because it would technically still be his bird rights
Yeah.
would carry over because he signed with OKC. You traded, bird rights retained. Bird rights would be retained if you do another sign and trade via like Chris Paul style.
Yeah.
So like
Gotcha.
that's why sign and trade is the most dangerous thing. Is Boston could go all in and be like, "Yep, you get our fat stack of cash."
And really, the trade that I worked out money wise with the trade checker is Horford, Marcus Smart, and Rozier would be too much money apparently for the Warriors to take in. It'd probably be Horford, Scary Terry, and then here just have some draft.
I mean, I
picks.
think Jaylen Brown's got to be moved.
think so?
He's got the most potential that they're willing to move. Like Jason Tatum, they're not going to move, period, unless they're getting Anthony Davis, I'm pretty sure. And even then, that's kind of like a lot of fans are really attached to him. I think Jaylen Brown's got way more potential than Terry Rozier.
Well, and the one thing too that he said on the Chris Haynes thing is that he didn't want to be like recruited. Like he was going to go out and find his own place.
Which
this was the second number 2 behind the Warriors.
But they
time.
did try to wine and dine him last time. They brought out Tom Brady. You remember
David Ortiz.
Yeah, they pulled out all the stops for him.
Yeah,
Horford and Jaylen Brown would work too.
Yeah,
so Horford and Brown
JB,
and picks,
and a handful of those futures. So they got 4 picks this year, and I'm sure they could move those picks right on over.
But what do you think? Like, if he's saying that, maybe he's just saying that for attention or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, what do you think that would play into? Do you think that's even more relevant for a sign and trade then? That
Absolutely.
He's just pretty much picking the place he knows where he wants to go.
Yeah, I think it absolutely works right into it. The interesting thing is like the timing of all this coming out. That Jackie Mack, getting words from a mysterious GM,
an anonymous GM
in the league. It's like, well, Jack, you're from Boston. You got all your hometown connections in Boston. Would anyone be that surprised if Danny Ainge was responsible for that comment? I don't know. Maybe. So I just think that it's interesting timing, and the fact that she's like, you may already know this, but I'm gonna just float out there publicly now and say that he wouldn't be surprised to see someone like that end up in Boston. So I think the timing's interesting because we're all talking AD market, and then all of a sudden like you kind of forget that KD's contract ends at the end of this year, and you're like, well, they got to do something with all that money because Clay will be up, and the following year is Draymond's final year.
And the thing I mentioned to you yesterday when you brought it up to me was, I know this is a storyline I'm throwing out there.
Yeah.
But this would be an epic
Sing your
storyline.
story.
Durant goes to the Celtics. Him and Kyrie going to the finals from the Eastern Conference. LeBron builds his super team in the Lakers. They win the West. And we get a finals matchup of LeBron and his new super team
Give us the people.
against
Who's the super team?
Kyrie and Kevin Durant. Could be anybody. Any names you want.
You want to drop Kawhi Leonard on that
throwing it out
team? You
there.
want to drop...
Then fine, Kawhi and AD. If the contract's worth Kawhi and AD with LeBron versus a Durant and Kyrie Irving-led Boston team, the story writes itself. LeBron versus Kevin Durant and Kyrie, where it's like, it would be basically the LeBron versus KD, but wait, I thought that Kyrie last time was on the side of LeBron, now he's on the side of Kevin Durant. It just writes itself, Sean.
It's a great narrative for TV ratings, too, because you get both coasts. You get both coasts. You get the two historical franchises.
You get Boston, LA yet
Yep.
again.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be so good. It could be so good.
We get more
You know what's
clips
not
of
gonna
Magic
happen,
and Larry.
That.
Yeah. Because also...
I think it does.
If LeBron had Kawhi and AD and they didn't win the finals, LeBron would be taken down to like 10th all time.
Yeah.
You have 3 of the top 5 players in the NBA right there. One of them's on the other team, but
What about just AD then? Because the Kawhi thing, I will say, although I think he's leaving the Raptors, Raptor fans believe that he'll stay, so I'll let you believe he'll stay.
Or it could be a Clipper.
Or it could be a Clipper. That's where I think he'll end up
He's not
going.
going to the fucking Clippers. Come on.
Hey, man, Clippers could build a team.
The Raptors already have a team.
We'll see how they do in the playoffs.
Okay, and if they do well, he's going to stay.
Then, yeah, I'll change my tune.
So.
I don't know.
Let me see how they do in the playoffs, because usually
How are the
Raptors go...
And how the Clippers do in the playoffs?
They don't make it. Usually.
They don't make it, and then they choke in the second round. They did exactly what the
West.
Raptors did. They
Raptors
the East.
We all
or
know
the West.
We all know what Jerry West does with teams. He builds good teams.
I don't know. I just think that I'm not ready to buy into anything that he's... I just want to buy into that he's just going to stay in Golden State.
Boo.
No, I don't think so. I think everything going on, he going somewhere.
What's going on?
Like it all started with the Draymond Green thing. I think there is stuff that we're not seeing in the public to where eventually it's just going to be like, you know what? I spent my time here. I'm leaving. He'll go somewhere else. Boston seems like a great fit because he can continue to win rings and not have to go to New York and be like, man, now I got to recruit people to play here with me, where he can just go and play with Kyrie, who he gets along with, and they can just rule the East together.
I don't know.
It's a lot on the table.
I just think that looking at it, they're still going to be able to give him money, Golden State. They're still going to have the ability to win championships because they're still going to be the most talented team with Klay Thompson, with Draymond Green, with Steph Curry, and with Kevin Durant on the floor. It's not like they're not going to be, next year they're not going to be the best team in the league. They still are. So I think that this isn't going to be a narrative that they're not going to get away from. I think that he's still going to stick with that team. I mean, he seems pretty tied to this Golden State franchise. He still seems tied to San Francisco and LA. He's already in the place that he wants to be. Why would he leave? They're already having success. Winning makes people happy. If they win a 3rd ring, I don't see him leaving.
Back to what I said at the beginning. And this is also, you should know this better than anyone, Sean, because you're a Patriot fan. You don't want to hang on to it too long. Nothing lasts forever.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Nothing lasts. Like Bill Belichick, he's a guy where it's like, hey, you're a good player, not going to hang on to you for too long. I'm going to get rid of you right at the main opportunity.
And you know who is the player that didn't get rid of? Tom Brady.
Yeah.
And you know why I didn't get rid of him?
Because
he's really fucking good.
Yeah,
you know
I'm talking about everybody else.
Kevin Durant's really fucking good.
And that's the thing with Kevin. No. I'm not saying
both are fucking good.
Kevin,
I know. I'm just
in
saying.
this situation, Kevin Durant is not the Tom Brady. The winning championships in Golden State, that is...
This sounds like you think Bob Myers is going to get rid of Kevin Durant.
That is the Tom Brady. No. I'm thinking Kevin Durant wants out because Kevin Durant will be like, hey, you know what?
Kevin Durant's Jimmy G.
I could stay here and we could... it's uncertain how long this championship reign is going to go on because there will come a day where the Warriors don't win a championship. And if I'm Kevin Durant, I'd get off that train before that happens rather than, all right, we didn't win, now I'm going to leave, because that looks worse. I would say that looks worse than, hey, I just won 3 championships with you, mutual separation after this year.
I would disagree. We do have big news that I just want to bring up because I think we're going to have to do another topic. John Wall is having season-ending surgery on his ankle.
Oh,
so
boy.
we'll have to talk about that. So maybe that makes Washington a little bit less of a desirable return home for KD. Let's finish this up. Give me your top 3 teams for KD right now.
I'm going to say Boston number 1, New York number 2, and then number 3, the Clippers.
Give me... I'm going Boston 1. I'm buying into it. Why not? Why not? Boston 1.
It's one person.
I don't care. It's Jackie Mack.
You respect Jackie
What
Mack.
else is she broke?
Jackie Mack.
Name one other thing
she's
she's
old
broke.
school cool. I don't care.
She's just cool. You like her.
Yeah.
She's a reputable source.
How? What is she broken? What big news is Jackie Mack broken? In the
She's got connections, man.
She's
got
been
them
around
connects.
the horn. That's the only reason why you know
She's
her.
got that connects, though.
She's also a really good writer, too.
We just don't read it because we're
Jackie
on
Mack
Boston.
piece you read.
It was actually like literally last week. She did an article on Kyrie Irving. But no, I think one is Boston in my mind because why not? 2 is stay at home with the Warriors, and 3 is the Lakers because why not put KD and LeBron together?
It's like, hey, I already have the
same.
same amount of championships as you. You can't pass me now.
up.
Golden State.
Yep.
New York. Toronto. Fuck it.
You keep selling that Toronto
Fuck it.
narrative.
I thought
Nobody wanna
you
go
were
to
going to
Toronto.
say.
Fuck it.
I had a feeling Sean was going to be like Golden State, Golden State, Golden State.
Yeah.
I was trying to figure out a way. I was going to say Golden State Gap, and then
Golden
New York.
State.
I don't know. I think it'd be cool to see him on the Raptors. I think that one's just. I think the biggest. I think he's going to go to stay in Golden State. So I don't think it really. The other teams
very
matter for me.
likely that he does, but
I just think of the greased up deaf guy from Family Guy. Never gonna happen. You're wasting your time.
do you think it
How
matters
is
that he
it
loses
never
this year?
going to happen? It already
'Cause he's not
happened. They're
gonna
already
go
going
to
to be winning.
Toronto.
Do you think it matters if he loses this year versus if he wins?
I think if he loses, he leaves.
You think lost and he's out?
Yeah. Because then if this team's not working, then why would he stay? He doesn't have to, why would I deal with Draymond? We're not winning because of it. I'd leave.
Right.
I think that would be an easy way for him to go. Might be a bad look for him because then, when the going gets tough, then you leave. But I think it'd probably be easier for him to leave rather than, staying after winning. I think that if they win, he'll probably stay.
Okay.
That's my thoughts. Anyways, that's going to do it for the fast break. Do you guys want to do John Wall stuff?
We'll do it. We'll piece it in as a different segment. This will be the last one.
Okay,
now.
so this is going to be the last one.
Yeah,
So
let's do
goodbye,
it.
everybody. Thanks for listening to the Fast Break Podcast. Again, don't forget to rate us 5 stars on iTunes if you liked. I really appreciate you taking out your time and rating it. It means a ton to us. Really helps us grow and be seen by other eyes. So if you do like this, we want to share it and rate us on iTunes. We greatly appreciate it. But for Ricky Widmer, Dave Oster, I'm Sean Anderson. We'll see you next time.